Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
All right, good evening, sports fans. Another Monday, another edition of the Sports Hounds. Rob Brinkman, Brad Ryer, Frank Vespi on the ones and twos producing the show tonight. Big week in baseball, Brad. We're getting very rare interleague series. Yankees coming into town for a three-game set with the Philadelphia Phillies. Philadelphia Phillies playing relatively well, winning 3 straight series. Lost my train of thought.
They're right now. They're in the
You're
playoffs.
speechless.
Right?
I'm speechless.
You're speechless. They're in the playoffs.
I didn't know
right
where
now.
I wanted to go.
If the season ended right now, they'd be in the playoffs. They'd be in the play-in game, correct?
Yeah, they would.
Okay. We've got Ralph Dellavecchia with a obscenity with the Yankees. Thank you, Frank, and I appreciate the kind words. And
I don't understand.
So
I don't understand the hatred for the Yankees in Philadelphia.
Dave Rosca says hello. Hello, David.
Hello, David.
I don't really get it with Philadelphia with the Yankees. We don't even play you guys, and as far as Yankee fans are concerned, we couldn't care less about the Phillies. We care about Boston, and we root for the Mets to lose as many games as humanly possible. As a matter of fact, we would rather see you guys win the division than them any day of the week. So, I mean, I don't get it. But, as long as you're going to hate us like that, we're going to hate you back. So, if you're going to be that way about it, okay, fine. But, I mean, I really don't care. It just doesn't – I mean, you can't root for Washington. They're kind of unrootable. I can see why you guys can't stand Washington. They're a hateable team.
Their fans are weird down there, too. But Sports Hounds is always brought to you by Gibson Mayer, LLC, certified accountants, GibsonMayer.com. Scanzano Sports, poll question of the night, is it too early for teams to start trading? My answer is undoubtedly, unquestionably, no, it's not too early. The Washington Nationals made a trade last week to bolster their bullpen, getting Kelvin Herrera, an extremely good reliever from
Seattle picked up Colome from
Seattle.
The
that
Rays.
was
like 2 weeks ago.
2-3 weeks ago. They got Denard Spahn, he's hitting for them. And they got Alex Colome.
He's basically playing left field, and they moved D. Gordon to second base because Cano was out of the lineup. And doesn't seem to matter. I mean, for Seattle, it didn't really seem to matter until they went on the road and played the Yankees in Boston, and then they got their tails wiped from those 2 games. They lost 5 out of 6.
I think we're going to find out a lot about this Phillies team tonight because, the Nationals are good. They beat the Cardinals. They beat the Brewers. Those teams are good. The Yankees are a great team.
But they are starting.
Despite being
a
1,
pitcher,
maybe 2. Yeah, but you have that lineup against Vince Velasquez. It can be okay rather quickly. But despite that, they're the best team, maybe second best team in baseball. Whether you want to put them ahead or behind Houston. I think those are the 2. I think the Yankees are better than Boston, but
listen, it's close, and it's not going to be easy for the Yankees to beat Boston or Houston.
It's a dead heat atop the AL East right now. They both have silly, stupid records, and they're
both
tied
50
for
and
the
25.
lead.
They're 50 and 25. I think Yankees are in first place by percentage points because they've played fewer games. But one of the games that they're making up is tonight. So this is a big game for the Yankees. It's a big game for the Phillies. The Yankees went and basically are pitching their minor league pitchers against the Phillies and are saving all their good pitchers for Boston. I mean, I understand that the games are big.
Well,
against
Severino's
Boston,
pitching tomorrow.
He's pitching Sunday also. He's pitching Tuesday and Sunday.
Okay.
So, I mean, they got him, but they put CC Sabathia that is being pushed back to Friday. He's not pitching Wednesday. And Gray has been pushed back to
CC
Saturday.
Sabathia is not pitching.
CC Sabathia is
Wednesday.
not pitching Wednesday.
Who is pitching Wednesday?
Luis Sessa is pitching Wednesday.
So they're just kind of interleague matchup. They're just kind of mailing it in a little bit.
The other thing is, and I get it, they're afraid that if CC Sabathia gets a hit, he's going to get hurt running the bases.
Well, that's what happened to them with Tanaka.
Yeah, exactly. And, and I'll tell you what, tomorrow when Severino's up, I don't even want him to swing. I want him to do what they did in Major League with the manager, with the kid that was the manager. Do you remember Major League when the kid with the Cubs, when he messed up his arm? Remember how he stood all the way in the corner of the
Henry
batter's box?
Rollgarden.
Yeah, Henry, yeah.
Yeah.
He stood all the way.
Classic.
He sat all the way in the back of the batter's box and didn't swing at all.
Yeah.
And that's what I want Severino to do. I want him to just strike out, don't get on base, don't run if you hit the ball, don't run to first base, because if anything happens to him, season's over. I mean, that's the problem with the American League pitchers. If these guys get hurt running the bases or hitting, I mean, I remember Andy Pettitte lost almost a year and a half of his career in the National League hitting because he hurt his wrist on a check swing. I mean, listen, I don't like the DH. I'm being honest, I really don't. But it kind of sucks that if you're going to have a DH in one league, you should have a DH in both leagues or don't have it at all.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But you want to talk about jazzing up the game, making the game more exciting. Putting a DH in the National League is like the biggest no-brainer in the history of ideas, in my opinion. You get more runs. You get an additional.
You get deeper lineups.
You get an additional, because DHs, they make a lot of money. They're paid to hit, and the ones that are good really do.
And most teams have pretty good DHs.
Run production would go up. Home runs would go up. Offense would go up.
Well, the other thing about the DH.
It'll give sabermetricians a fun time with the National League
great.
DH.
Gabe Kapler, I think his computer would
It'll
explode.
Yeah,
explode if he
Rob,
had an extra hitter to play with.
The other thing is, and this is important too, is that a lot of teams use the DH as a rest spot for players. Like with the Yankees, most of the time Stanton is the DH, but he does play left field, and Judge will DH, or Sanchez will DH, or Glaber will DH. I mean, they run all their guys through the DH. For the most part, Sanchez is the primary one, but it's like today he's playing left field. But I mean, if he was playing left field and they were actually
Stanton?
Stanton, I'm sorry, well, Sanchez is
right. I was interested to see what the Yankees lineup was going to look like tonight.
Well, Stanton's going to play left
which
field,
is how
all
it should be.
Games. Yeah, I mean, he can play the outfield. He's a good enough athlete. He figured out how to do it. He hasn't hurt the Yankees yet in the outfield, so. We'll see what happens there. But, I mean, we'll see what happens with this. I think the Phillies are going to win one. They might win two. I mean, I'm not too happy to see that Johnny Lasagna and Cessa are pitching on Monday and Wednesday. That's not a good thing. But, I mean, hopefully for the Yankees' sake, they can score a lot of runs. And at least if they can get into their bullpen with the lead in the 5th, 6th inning, then they have a big advantage.
All right, well, let's get to the flaws of both of our teams and talk about some of the players that are out there that can potentially fit these needs. Because I watched the Phillies, and yes, I
got to watch a little bit of them last night as well.
Right, Sunday Night Baseball. How about that? Primetime action for the first time since 2013.
And they look terrific. I just don't understand why you take a pitcher who's very effective out after 5 innings. But you guys with that manager, I mean, he's.
Yeah, I don't like Gabe Kapler.
Like him at all.
Remember, Chip Kelly won it first as well.
Yeah, right.
But
I mean,
I don't like Gabe Kapler. I mean, I think I've made my opinion on Gabe Kapler extremely clear.
Nick Pivetta was pitching well last night.
Of course.
I mean, yes, was he pitching?
How long was the rain delay?
20 minutes.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of dozed off during the rain delay a little bit.
Listen,
and woke up for the end.
He was pitching in and out of trouble pretty much all night, but he was getting out of trouble.
They took him out because they stopped for 20 minutes.
No, he stayed in through 5 innings, and then Kapler took him out. And
it makes no sense.
When as soon as he took him out, that's when he had a 6-2 lead when they took him out, and then all hell broke loose when they took him out because that bullpen. I mean, honestly, I think the Phillies need to deal, and I think they need to deal now. To me, it's going to be very, very close for them as far as trying to get into the playoffs. It's not going to be easy. Okay? They're fourth and fifth pitchers are very shaky. Pavetta's pretty good, but he seems to be a little inconsistent too. When he's like the little girl with the curl.
Right.
When he's good, he's great. When he's bad, he's terrible.
Yeah, he's 2 good starts, 1 bad start.
Yeah, and I mean, but they've got to get a closer. They've got to get something to get some structure in that bullpen. Cause
Well,
right now, the
Neshek's
bullpen's a
supposedly
mess.
coming back soon. That can help. He's not a closer. That can help.
Is he? He's not their closer though.
He's
is he?
not their closer, but he
he's
might
probably
be
gonna
their
be their
closer.
closer.
You can't have Adam Morgan closing baseball games.
You can't ask Sir Anthony Dominguez to pitch 2 innings to close either. That's just crazy. Well,
Every once in a while you can.
Yeah, but wasn't he a AA pitcher or a AAA pitcher this year? That's just a lot to ask out of a guy, out of a rookie, especially on national TV against a team like Washington, who's been one of the best offensive teams in the league.
Right, and third
you're
base
asking a lot.
And third base is a huge hole in this lineup, in my opinion, as
And
well.
there's
Michael
a
Franco
million-
cannot
And there's a million
get the job done.
third basemen.
If you want to go do damage in the postseason in the National League, you got to have a basher at third base, a consistent
you cannot get
basher.
away with. You don't have
Look
a
at
DH.
all the consistent teams in the contending consistent teams in the National League. They're all stud third basemen.
Well,
Anthony Rendon, Chris Bryant, Travis Shaw, Justin Turner, Jake Lamb. These are all solid guys. I know Jake Lamb's a little inconsistent this year, but
yeah, but he's going to hit his home.
I would
share of
rather
home
have
runs.
Jake Lamb on my team than Michael Franco.
Jake Lamb's going to hit a lot of home runs. I mean, you know, and
And you know the Braves are going to get, because the Braves have a hole at third base as well, one of the only holes in their everyday lineup.
Look,
they're going to get one of these third basemen, whether it's
Right.
Donaldson or
Moustakas.
Moustakas, Adrian Beltre.
Beltre's another
There's
one.
a ton of them out there. The Phillies got to grab. They've been linked to Adrian Beltre. I think that would be fantastic.
Oh, Adrian Beltre.
And
would
I
be
did read a rumor on the
huge.
internet yesterday where the Padres were interested in Franco. So if you can get Beltre in here, ship Franco out, that's a huge upgrade.
I'll tell you what the Phillies should be thinking about. If they're interested in Franco, then the Phillies should be targeting Brad Hand. I mean, Brad Hand would be the answer to your dreams out there in the bullpen for them.
It would.
Especially to have a lefty that can pitch like that, a lefty closer. I mean, that's huge.
But, I mean, I look at the Phillies. They're 2.5 games back of the Braves. 41-34. Their run differential is plus 18. They're 7-3 in their last 10. I don't understand how they're doing it.
Who, the Phillies?
I don't understand. They have a trash bullpen. They don't play defense well.
They're hitting.
They have
is
a
up
bad
and down.
manager.
Their hitting is up and down, but their starting pitching's been pretty good.
Their starting pitching has been pretty good. And Aaron Nola, he's another guy.
He's elite. He's an elite pitcher. He's a top 10 pitcher in baseball right now.
Absolutely.
You know,
He's going to go for his.
definitely- He's good. He is risen. I put him in the top 20 at the beginning of the season. I would have to at this point say he's a top 10 pitcher.
He's 9-2. They're in every game that he starts. He should be on
Is
the.
he pitching this week against the Yankees?
He's not pitching against the Yankees. He's
Good.
pitching Thursday. Yeah.
Good. Like
Good.
to avoid him. I don't want to face him.
No. Nobody does.
Why would I want to face
He's
him?
going to go for his 10th win of the year.
Yeah, why would I want to face him?
No. Nobody does.
Why?
He shuts everybody
Just,
down.
what to prove that we can hit him? I don't really care.
He has
I know
2
we won't
losses.
hit him.
He has 2 losses on the season. I don't know how many no decisions he has.
Listen, I know
but
they won't hit him.
How
so
much?
what's
How
the
much
point?
you want to bet if I went into my computer right now and looked it up? How one or both of his losses were blown by the bullpen? How much you want to bet that's the case?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what though, the king of having losses blown by the bullpen is Jake DeGrom.
Well, Jake DeGrom is
I
on
mean, what
the
does he have,
worst
5
team in the
win-
National League. We argue.
They are, in my opinion, I think they're the worst team in baseball.
I think the
I'm
Orioles
sorry.
are the worst team in baseball, but the Mets are not far behind. But I mean,
That team is with
but
all
then
the
you look
injuries
at
they
your
have, they're
Yankees.
terrible.
I mean, I don't see the point in them having. I would trade everybody if I was the Mets. I'm trading Thor. I'm trading DeGrom. I'm trading Wheeler. I'm trading Matz. And I'm getting as many prospects as I can. They're nowhere close there.
No, that's an awful
If they
team.
can get Cespedes healthy and trot him out there, trade him
If you think
too.
about it, what are they, like 10 games under 500 now?
I have the standings right
Something-
here,
they're
actually.
like-
31 and 44.
Okay, they're 13 games under 500. They were 11-1.
They've lost 6 in a row. They're 3-7 in their last 10.
They were 11-1 and they're 13 under. So that means they are 23 games under 500 since after Game 12. 23 games. That's as bad as the Orioles. And keep in mind, when they played the Orioles 2 weeks ago, they got swept at home, no less. I mean, I'm sorry. That's the worst team in baseball. It really is. You think your bullpen is bad? That bullpen is just. I mean, you listen. You know, it's funny because I was on my way home from a Yankee game a couple of weeks ago, and I think the Mets were playing Arizona, and the Mets had a lead in that game, and then they brought their bullpen in. And poor Howie Rose, who's the Mets announcer on the radio, he was just kind of like, you could hear his frustration when they brought in. First they brought in, I think, Seawald, and then they brought in some of these other guys, Hansel Robles, and you're listening
Hansel Robles is terrible.
Oh my God, these guys are hard. Their bullpen is way worse than yours. I mean, that might be the worst bullpen I've ever seen, bar none. But that team needs to trade Thor, and they need to trade DeGrom. If they were smart and just start all over again. And you know what? I think their fans may be mad, but they need to do that. Now, they probably won't trade with the Yankees because.
But why not?
Because the Mets and the Yankees share
the Yankees should be on the phone with the Mets right now and figure out which of those two starting pitchers would cost them less and put a package together to get one of them.
Honestly, if it was up to me,
come across town.
If I had my choice, I would probably take DeGrom. I think DeGrom is better.
He's better.
But Thor is younger.
Thor's also on the DL currently.
Yeah, and he's been on the DL. He seems to have that issue. DeGrom is an excellent pitcher, and boy, if he was with the Yankees, I mean, he'd have 11 wins by now. And he would, you know what? He's a guy that could match up.
If I'm the Yankees, I'm not even blinking at giving up Andahar in a package for DeGrom.
Andahar, yes. Torres, no, though.
That's fine.
You can't give up Torres.
That's fine.
But are you telling me that Andahar, Clint Frazier, Herman, and Sheffield, and Estevan Florial, you're telling me that isn't a good enough package?
You have Florial, you have Clint Frazier, you have Chance Adams, you have Justice Sheffield. I mean,
right.
Especially the outfield prospects, Frazier and Florial. I mean, Aaron Judge is what, 24 years old, 23 years old? 25?
Yeah.
So he's not going anywhere for 10 years.
And neither is Stanton.
No.
Neither is Stanton.
He does have an opt-out clause, but I don't understand why would opt out
from the Yankees. He's gonna.
I mean, Gardner's a little bit older.
Gardner's older, and you know what? The theory is that they could slip Florial in there if they wanted to do that. But the other theory is you could trade Florial, and then you can go out and sign Bryce Harper when Gardner, and when Gardner's contract is up at the end of the season. That's the other theory that's going around. So I mean, they could trade Florial. I mean, as far as Andahar, if you trade Andahar, is Drury as good as Andahar? No, but Drury's
but you have DeGrom every fifth day.
It's not even a question.
The Yankees are playing for the playoffs.
Are going to win. The
Yankees are in the playoffs already. They've already clinched. Them and the Red Sox,
and Houston. Let's be honest. Houston's going to be in the playoffs too. They're 20 games over 500.
Right, but I mean, and we'll see what they do at that. We'll talk about them next.
Let's be honest, okay? In a playoff with the Yankees, Severino can match up against anybody in the league, and the Yankees will be fine. Okay, Game 2, Tanaka's not a bad pitcher, but I would rather have him in Game 3 and put a DeGrom or somebody like that in. Because if I had a guy like DeGrom in Game 2, he could match up against Cole. He could match up against David Price, or whoever the Red Sox throw as their second pitcher.
Even if they're in the wild card, let's say they're in the wild card game for the sake of the argument.
They could pitch Severino.
But then if you don't have DeGrom, then you have Tanaka in Game 1, who's not even healthy right now. He strained both his hamstrings running the bases.
He's supposedly
and then what do you do?
Be back in 2 weeks.
Sonny Gray in Game 2.
Well, Tanaka,
you could get in trouble with Sonny Gray in Game 2 against the Astros or the Indians. That could be trouble.
You have to think that Tanaka will be okay for the playoffs, though. I mean, he's going to be back. He's going to be back in.
I understand.
2 weeks.
So, I understand.
Assuming he's
That's
healthy.
fine. He's your Game 1 starter if Severino has to pitch the wild card game. Who's Game 2? Sonny Gray?
Sabathia.
Sabathia against the Astros or the Indians?
Why not? He's
I mean,
pitched real well against the Astros and Indians.
I understand that's who it is. Who it is who it is.
But
it's CC Sabathia.
I'm not afraid.
Wouldn't you rather have Jake DeGrom in Game 1 and then Tanaka Game 2?
I would rather have Sabathia
pitch
in Game 4.
Then you can pitch Severino again in Game 3 if he has to pitch the wild card game. No one's gonna. A team would be lucky to have two wins against those pitchers.
I
so
agree.
I don't understand the Yankees' mentality about just have these prospects collect dust, who are blocked anyway by young MVP candidates.
Yeah, I mean, Stanton is what, 27, 28?
Yeah, he's before 30 for sure. 28, I think
young.
he is.
Yeah, he's 28. He's just entering his prime. I mean, Judge is 25.
So the Yankees are going to be stubborn, have all these prospects in the minors collecting dust, not even able to contribute at the major league level because they're blocked by MVP candidates, and they're going to let a World Series slip through their fingers, apparently. Now, I know adding Jacob DeGrom doesn't guarantee them a World Series championship.
No, it doesn't. But
they're already they were the betting favorite when I made my bet on the Yankees.
But if you put him,
that's without DeGrom.
Here's the thing: if you're in the playoffs, when they're in the playoffs, I should say. Okay, let's assume they win the division. Then Severino, Tanaka, you're fine. You're fine with them in games 1 and 2. But wouldn't you rather have Tanaka for Game 3? I mean, Tanaka is probably better than most number 3 starters.
Absolutely.
You know, I'd certainly take him over Porcello any day because Porcello.
Robert Mazzia checking in. Cashman said, Cashman did say Frazier is not going anywhere. Yankees will trade for a pitcher.
Cashman is an idiot. Okay, and Bob, I hate to tell you this. That's my boy, Bob.
How he's an idiot?
He is an idiot.
But how is he an idiot?
Explain to me. Why is Neil Walker getting at bats right now?
But the guy's been the manager in a major.
Why is Chase and Shreve still on the team?
I mean, geez, it's not the American League All-Star team as much as you want it to be.
You're telling me
you're going to have weak links. You can't have an All-Star at every fucking position.
No, you can't. But you know what? If a guy is getting bombed every time he's out, every time he pitches, you tell me you can't release him and give somebody else in your minor league system a chance? You're telling me we don't have anybody in the minors who deserves a shot? And Neil Walker is hitting under 200. Why is Brandon Drury in the minor leagues right now? When Neil Walker couldn't hit a beach ball.
You're talking about easily fixable,
but why
bottom of the barrel
why
major league talents. And how about this? You take this jackass Matt Klintak as your GM, and you send Brian Cashman to Philly. Then you'll see what an idiot is. To say Brian Cashman's an idiot is just asinine. It's completely asinine.
During the season posture.
His lowest win total as a GM for the Yankees is 85 games. 85 games.
His during the season management of this team. First of all, I don't.
It can't be that bad if the least amount of games.
I could manage this team and they would win. They've got great talent, but. Why is Neil Walker and why is Neil Walker continue to play? That's what I don't understand. What is he doing playing? He can't hit. He can't field. He's horrible. Get rid of him.
So you're going to call the GM of the idiot an idiot?
I'm saying
because of the one player on the 25-man roster who's not going to be on the American League All-Star team.
I am also saying Chase and Shreve, who can't get anybody out, needs to be released. And
see, now Yankees fans like this is the entitled Yankee mentality.
No, I want to
see that the rest of America fucking hates. This is why takes like that is why people hate the Yankees.
Rob, but we have
saying Brian Cashman's an idiot is asinine.
For allowing these guys to be up there.
Asinine. Do you know how many major league cities would love to have 85 wins?
Why would Brandon Drury be in the minor leagues when Neil Walker is getting at bats?
Okay, so I don't know where'd you get Severino from?
They drafted him.
They drafted him. Who drafted him?
That would be Cashman.
That'd be pretty good. That's a pretty good fucking draft pick.
Pretty good draft pick.
Where'd Tanaka come from?
Japan.
Okay, he signed as a free agent.
Right.
So who signed him?
That was Cashman.
Cashman. Okay. Aaron Judge, where'd he come from?
He was a draft pick.
Okay. By?
Cashman.
Oh, that's
actually
pretty good.
I believe he was a supplemental draft pick because when Robinson Cano was let go in free agency,
Cool. Now he's an all-world talent. The Phillies haven't had the Phillies have had one competent first-round draft pick since 2008, and that's Aaron Nola. One.
Okay.
And I just rattled off
Rob,
three
I'm not saying his talent judgment.
possible Hall of Fame players.
I'm not saying his talent judgment.
Stanton, he gave up nothing to get Giancarlo Stanton. Nothing.
That trade dropped into his lap.
Nothing. Where'd Gary Sanchez come from?
They drafted him.
They drafted him. So he's a pretty good drafter, huh?
He's a very good drafter.
Very good drafter.
And he makes very good trades. But what I'm saying to you is you have two guys.
And he actually keeps prior to the popular opinion that the Yankees just spend. They actually don't spend.
No,
they do it. They're a sustained powerhouse because Brian Cashman is a genius GM who drafts well and makes the right moves.
But he also doesn't
because Neil Walker's on the team, so none of that stuff I just rattled off matters. He's an idiot.
Why is Neil Walker on the team?
You're gonna focus
on the team.
You're like looking at the Mona Lisa or the Sistine Chapel, and you're looking at the small fucking speck of dirt on the Mona Lisa's forehead. Like, oh, it sucks because of that.
These guys.
When all you have to do is just get some curator to get a little brush and just brush it off, and it's back to being a perfect painting.
Trayson Shreve
makes no sense.
He's lost 3
Justin
games.
Shreve, who cares?
Because they keep using him. Why? Why would you use a guy?
What inning did he come in yesterday?
The 12th.
The 12th.
Okay. He also messed up Lois Saiga's game last week. The Yankees still won the game, by the way, because of their hitting. But he came in when Losaiga had given up, I think, 1 run against Seattle, and he left with runners on first and second and 2 outs. And
Bob says,
Shreve
your buddy Yankee Bob, what about Andahar? Where'd he come from?
He would be another draft pick.
Another draft pick by Brian Cashman. Do you understand the slop that the Phillies select in the draft?
But they've got some good players now.
I mean, Odubel Herrera's a Rule 5 pick.
Whoever made that pick, that was a pretty smart Rule 5 pick.
That was a good pick. How about Jesse Biddle?
He stinks.
15th overall pick.
Right. I mean,
he's actually in the majors somehow. I was watching MLB Network.
Listen, Rhys Hoskins is a good player.
Rhys Hoskins is a good player.
And I think Kingery is going to end up being a pretty good player.
Okay.
You know, I mean, he seems like he's
These are all role players. The 4 or 5 guys that I just rolled off might go to the Hall of Fame.
Well,
between
be careful.
Judge.
Well, Judge maybe, and maybe Stanton perhaps. But I mean, listen,
Tanaka, if you combine his Japan numbers with his major league numbers, certainly it's a baseball Hall of Fame. It's not a major league Hall of Fame.
No, I understand that.
Okay,
I understand that. Tanaka's going to be back in 2 weeks. By the way, that's what I've.
Gary Sanchez, Andahar.
Torres.
How about the trade? How about the trade? How about the highway robbery Brian Cashman pulled off to get Didi Gregorius to place Derek Jeter?
That was a very good trade.
Extremely good trade.
They traded Shane Green for him.
I mean, Shane Green's having a good season for the.
I understand that
for
but
the Tigers, but still, an everyday shortstop.
Yeah, I take an everyday shortstop over a closer any day, unless he's Mariano.
So
Rivera,
I mean, just your statement about Brian Cashman being an idiot
is just an idiot about these
because of 2 players that sit at the end of the bench.
I'm not saying
he's
an overall. He's not an overall idiot, but he's being an idiot about these.
Well, now you're backtracking. Let's trade general managers for the next 3 years. The Yankees will be in the shitter in about 5 seconds.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that the Yankees should be trying to get a starting pitcher now?
Absolutely.
Why wait until the trade deadline if you can pull off a deal
If I'm the Yankees, I'm not even screwing around. I'm calling up the Mets. I'm saying you can't have Gleyber Torres.
And then the Mets.
What do you want?
The Mets are going to hang up because they've been extremely they insist on Gleyber Torres, so it's probably not going to happen with the Mets. I mean, other pitchers they could try to get. I mean, maybe Madison Bumgarner could become available, but he's not going to be available yet. Do you trade Andahar as part of a package for a guy like Madison Bumgarner?
Trade who? I'm sorry, I was reading the comment.
Do you trade him as? Do you trade
who?
Andahar as part of a package for Madison Bumgarner?
Yes,
I would too.
Absolutely. I would trade him at Syndergaard. I mean, Andahar's a nice player. He looks like he's going to be a pretty good third baseman. He's got a 275 batting average. He hits a lot of doubles. He's got over 10 home runs. Not quite a 350 OBP, but he's not far off. He's a very good player. And it's his first year in the majors.
Okay,
the guy's a stud.
We've got some comments
but
here.
Madison Bumgarner, Noah Syndergaard, or Jacob deGrom, the Yankees lock up a World Series championship, in my opinion. That puts them head and shoulders above the Astros, Indians, and Red Sox. Not even close.
Okay.
If you're getting the stud you trade for, Severino, Tanaka, and then CC, I guess if you need them, or Sonny Gray.
Bumgarner would be a perfect pitcher for them to get, but again,
Madison Bumgarner is a perfect pitcher for every team in the league.
I agree. Now we got Rob Povia who says best to set the pace in the free agent market. I guess that's for something else. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see.
I know over on my computer it's not loading up all the comments right, but I do have
YouTube.
Okay, Dion Brown, how you doing
there we
here,
go.
Dion?
Yep.
As long as it's a player or players that can help a team make a playoff push. What's up, fellas? It's not too early. I agree. I think basically with both of our teams, though, I think the sooner the better, especially with the Phillies. I mean, the Phillies are playing good ball, but you can't be giving away games in the first half of the season like this. I mean, they're gonna have a couple of slumps in the second half. Everybody does. But, you know, the games, and you're going to lose some game, but you're going to lose a lot of games. It's not a sustainable record if the bullpen is going to continue to blow games. It's just I don't see it as being sustainable. I mean, I understand the Yankees do need another starting pitcher.
Right.
But if their starting pitchers let up 2 runs in 5 innings, they have a deep enough bullpen that they can get away with that.
How many blown saves does Aroldis Chapman have this year? One. And then I guess
Betances has been pitching as well as he's ever pitched in his career in the last month.
So he's the setup guy.
He's back again.
What's his name? Chad Green.
Chad Green has been very good. Robertson had a rough patch, but he seems to be coming around again. Jonathan Holder has all of a sudden become an outstanding relief pitcher. I don't know where this came from. A guy who wears number 65 usually doesn't end up panning out to be any type of a player, but you know, number 65 out there is pitching real well, Jonathan Holder. I mean, their bullpen is deep and it's very, very good, and they can throw a quality arm out at you every game for 3 or 4 innings if they have to.
Yeah, and even with that bullpen, they don't pull their starters every night at 5 innings.
No, they let the starter pitch until they throw 100 pitches or they're completely ineffective. They don't.
I understand it's not the fairest comparison because the pitchers never have to. Their turn in the order never comes around in the American League.
Yeah,
so.
I mean it's a little different, but I mean I'll be honest with you. I mean, especially Severino. Severino is going to pitch. Severino pitches 6-7 innings every game, sometimes 8. I mean, he's even had a complete game this year. I mean,
Which
I think
nobody gets complete.
Well,
games
he had
anymore.
a 2-hit shutout against Houston, and he went all the way. I mean, that in Houston. So obviously, you know, I mean, but he's a completely elite pitcher.
Just to wrap up the Mets Yankees. Yankee Bob says the Mets will never trade with the Yankees. Which
I agree.
Yeah, that's the trend. But why?
Because
you
the
look
Mets
at it,
don't
but,
want, because they play in the same
but
town.
But if you look,
and they don't want to see the Yankees. Have
they're
a
not in the
parade.
same league.
Yeah,
it's
but
such short-sighted
play-
bullshit thinking.
But they play in the same town, and the Mets don't want to see the Yankees succeed.
But if you're the Mets GM, I don't even know who the Mets GM is
Sandy
these days.
Alderson,
Sandy Alderson,
who right now is really on the hot seat.
Yeah, because his team stinks. But
and they have no farm.
If you're
system.
Sandy Alderson, you got to be looking across town at the Yankees. Wow, they have a pretty good farm system. I have 2 starting pitchers at the top of my rotation, which I'm not going to do anything with in terms of winning. Why don't I get some of these prospects over here and give them the pitchers they need? It's a perfect trade. It's a situation that they're not in the same league. They're not in the same division. They would never have to deal with DeGrom unless an interleague play happens, which would be rare.
Unfortunately, a lot of Met fans and Yankee fans are bandwagon fans, and whoever plays well is where they go.
The fans are not trading the players.
I understand
This is why teams have professionals like Sandy Alderson and Brian Cashman to do what's best for the team.
But the problem is Sandy Alderson, and this goes back to the Wilpons as well, the owners. They don't want to trade with the Yankees.
Look at Brett Brown. He traded hometown hero Mikal Bridges, a very
Because he's
unpopular
smart.
move.
Because he did something really smart.
But this is why that
For
there's
futures.
professionals and people
For futures.
away from
I agree, but the Mets
they take their heart out of
It's
it and they
not
do
the
what's
Yankees.
best for the team.
Rob, the Yankees would do it in a heartbeat.
And this is why the Yankees have 27 world championships. The Mets have two.
And haven't won since '86. And they're not going to. You know what? The way their team is going right now, it's going to be at least 3 or 4 years before they can even be a 500 team.
Sixers
that team is
JT,
terrible.
DeGrom for Glaber. I'm not doing that if I'm the Yankees. I'm
No, they
sorry.
can't
Glaber
trade
Torres
Glaber.
is super special.
Yeah, you
Sixers
can't-
JT also wants to know, will Machado be traded before the trade deadline?
Yes.
Yes, he will be traded, and hopefully he's traded to the Phillies. I think the Phillies. The Phillies.
Yeah, he'd be good at
It's
shortstop.
2-0 Yankees now. Aaron Judge hit a home run. The game is in the top of the fifth. 2 outs. So 2-0
You haven't
Yankees.
scored against Lasagna in 4 innings? I'm
No,
shocked.
this is why the inconsistencies. I don't understand how the Phillies are good. I don't
shocked.
understand it. They have holes all over the lineup. They don't have a basher at third base. They don't have a basher at either corner. Well, that's not true because Hoskins plays left.
Santana can hit, though.
He's
He
hitting
hasn't
now.
been. Yeah, Santana's a good player. I mean, I was looking at the Phillies right now, and right now, if you looked at the lineups today, probably 2 Phillies could start in the Yankee lineup tonight. Maybe 3. I mean, if you want to count the catcher, I don't know. I don't know your catcher well enough to know if he's better than Romine or not.
Correa, maybe.
Maybe. I mean,
He's got a better arm than everybody.
yeah. Well, Romine's not. I mean, Romine's a backup catcher. He's okay, but he's a backup.
Well,
catcher,
Herrera
but
would start in center
Herrera
field.
would start in center, and without a question, Santana would start at first because Bird hasn't proven anything yet. Bird has to start proving it.
Well, Rhys Hoskins would start at first as
Okay.
well for the Yankees.
If he was at first base,
He
but
is
if
a first baseman.
Oh, he's
he's
at
playing
first,
left. He's playing left field because
right. Okay, he would start at first base.
the
as well.
one big time free agents the Phillies signed played the same position as the future of the first base position for the Philadelphia Phillies organization.
Yeah,
Makes no sense.
there's
no sense.
But there's no question that
Rhys
Nola,
Hoskins should be at first base every day, just
Nola and
focusing on
Arrieta-
being a basher. And
Nolan Arrieta could be in our rotation. You know that. Easily.
yeah, absolutely.
Easily. I mean,
Absolutely.
the two of them would be Nola. You could make the argument he could
Jake
be first or
Arrieta
second.
will be
Arrieta
opposed-
would be the second or third pitcher. I mean, without a question,
Jake Arrieta will be opposing Luis Severino tomorrow.
that should be one heck of a matchup.
I can't stand Jake Arrieta.
Jake Arrieta, I listen,
can't stand him.
I understand that you're mad at him for mouthing off, but I understand what
He's not good enough to be mouthing off like that. He's not.
He's trying to take a leadership role. That's kind of what he's trying to do. But
So calling out a rookie who's never played shortstop since high school, that's the way to do it. That's being a leader.
No, that's being David Wells, and that's not.
That's
not
bullshit, is what it
Cool.
is.
Yeah, no, I didn't like it either. But he's still a good pitcher, though.
He's okay.
Listen, he could pitch for my team.
He's
Ma-
not
maybe,
pitching. He's
maybe
not
not
pitching
for
up.
20. Maybe
he's
not
not-
for $20 million.
He's not
a year,
pitching
but-
up to the paycheck he's getting. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but it's a long season, Rob. Second half of the season. You know what? If he turns it on in the second half of the season, you'll forget all about the first half of the season.
So to answer Sixers JT's question, yes, Manny Machado will be traded.
He'll definitely be traded.
Now, who will you trade him for? That's the question. Whoever.
I mean,
here's the question is
obviously
actually
I'd like to add him to the mix with Herrera or Hoskins,
Right.
but
But are you renting him, or are you gonna sign him?
you gotta sign him.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're paying the Orioles at this point, you shouldn't have to trade that much for him because he's a rental. Because the Orioles waited way too. The Orioles should have thought about trading him in the middle of last season. That's when they would have gotten maximum value. It was obvious last season that it was not going.
They're
well.
gonna get a team's best prospects that it's at AA or lower,
Right.
and maybe an additional top 10 prospect at this point.
and they'll get a starting shortstop.
So
to,
that's
so somebody
flame.
can go
That
out there and
guy
play
Sixto
shortstop.
Sanchez.
Sixto Sanchez.
See you later.
He's on the DL right now, so
Great.
What
That's a
Baltimore
good
needs,
thing.
what Baltimore needs more than
Well,
anything
it's time
else
for
is-
Clintack to start earning his paycheck and make something happen.
Well, let me ask
The
you this,
Sixers
Rob.
have enough, or the Sixers, the Phillies.
The Phillies.
The Phillies have enough to get a deal done for Manny Machado.
Well, let me ask you a question. Who has a better farm system right now, the Phillies or the Dodgers? I
well,
think
the
Phillies-
Dodgers. The Dodgers do.
Are you sure? I don't think the Dodgers farm system is that good anymore.
Look,
Most of their guys are up now.
Yeah, but they have Verdugo, Yadier Alvarez, pretty good.
Well, between Stripling and who's the other young pitcher that they brought up?
Walker Bueller's on the DL
Buehler-
right now.
Bueller's on the DL, but Stripling has been really good. I mean, I'll tell you what. If the Dodgers were to put Stripling in a deal, and the Orioles had to include Bundy, I mean,
Sixers JT, Mickey Moniak,
You know,
former first overall
Yeah,
pick.
that's
You
what
can
I was
have
thinking.
him.
Yeah.
Whatever. I would trade. Just obviously, you
Okay,
want to keep
John Malmos says no. As far as John, if you would
Elaborate.
elaborate no about what trade, and Tom Arnone also, you said no. No regarding what?
They're probably talking about
The poll question.
They're probably talking about the poll
The
It's
poll
the poll
question.
question,
Okay.
yep.
Okay. 'Cause,
Sixers JT, I would give Herrera, Crawford, and Moniak for Machado. Not sure if that's enough.
If it's a rental,
Sixto
it is.
Sixto is untouchable for me. Why is Sixto untouchable? Why would he be untouchable in a Manny Machado deal?
Is Sixto a pitcher?
Yeah.
Sixto is a pitcher. 19 years old.
It's hard to trade. It's hard to trade a pitcher.
I
but
mean-
the Orioles. Let's put it this way: if
I
the
wonder if
Orioles are
Sixers
gonna
JT is one of these mysterious Odubel Herrera haters, and that's why he included him in the trade package.
you can't trade Odubel Herrera. What's the point of doing
I
that?
think you keep Odubel.
If you're going to trade
but-
Odubel Herrera for Manny Machado, then you're plugging up one hole and bashing
Right.
a big hole in another.
But I
spot.
definitely
That doesn't
do
make
agree
sense.
with like trading Moniak. I just think Hazley has the higher upside.
Would
from what I'm looking at.
Sixto Sanchez and Mickey Moniak for Machado?
I mean,
Well, here's
looking
the
at the
thing.
looking at
If
the
you're gonna
pipeline,
trade-
there's two pitchers occupying 1 and 2 at the current top 30 for the Phillies. I mean, you have Sixto Sanchez, and then you have Angelis Medina.
But if you're going to do this, the
Cool.
Orioles have to give you a
Cool.
72-hour
But you gotta-
window to try to sign.
Yeah,
I
There's-
mean,
Yeah.
Matt Clintack hasn't spent a dime since the Phillies.
Yeah.
They're in a top 5 market. They have a ridiculously
there's a-
low payroll.
there's a
no
lot of
reason.
assets
Just keep
in the
adding
top 30.
zeros until he says yes. I mean, what are we doing? What are you doing?
I don't.
Let him
disagree.
let him play whatever
The one
position
thing-
he wants.
The one thing the Phillies can do is they have
if
they have
JP if they
money.
want an MLB, JP Crawford,
They-
Sixto Sanchez, and Mickey
They're
Moniak,
in no danger of hitting the.
nowhere close.
They're not going to hit the dreaded cap line. So they don't have to worry about that. I
Right.
mean, there's a lot of guys for them to probably go after as far as offensively. I mean, to me, when the Giants are out of it, you could look at Longoria because the Giants are going to be out of it soon.
I don't want Evan Longoria.
No, not as a stopgap.
No.
Okay, I'm just
No.
throwing his name.
Why
out
do we
there.
have to have stopgaps? If you want to trade for Adrian Beltre or someone who's on a bad team, who's older with an expiring
He's a stopgap.
contract,
He's a stopgap. He's just for this year. But then
but
you won't
Adrian
have to trade anybody
Adrian
for him.
Beltre still rakes.
Oh yeah, he
Evan Longoria does not rake anymore.
It's not a great stadium to hit in either for a right-handed
He's
batter.
been going downhill
He
since
hasn't really
2008.
been, yeah, he hasn't. Well, he hasn't. It hasn't been that long, but he hasn't really been hitting since like 2014. At a top level.
So no, I mean
I'll tell you what, Josh Donaldson.
I don't want any parts of him.
No,
None.
in the second half of the season.
No.
No. Okay.
He's old.
Too brittle?
He's old. He's hurt. His numbers have only gone down the last couple of years. He's
Okay.
clearly washed up. Adrian Beltre I would trade for because he's on fire right now.
Yeah, and if you know what,
He always strains his calf for whatever reason.
But if he does fail, I mean, it's only for this year anyway.
Right, then he's gone.
Right.
If you bring in Beltre, which I can't imagine Adrian Beltre costing you that much.
No, he cost you he would cost you a prospect in the A League in rookie ball probably.
Fine.
That's about
Trade the
all.
guy.
That's
Trade the guy we just drafted. If you're trading for Machado
you don't
too.
have to, you don't have to do that for not for Beltre.
empty the farm system for Manny Machado.
I think Moustakas would be a very good fit because I think the Phillies definitely could use another left-handed hitter.
True.
I mean, it just seems to me, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't watch the Phillies a lot, but it seems to me most of their big hitters are right-handed, with the exception of Odubel.
Odubel's lefty. Hoskins is righty.
Santana's a switch hitter, but Santana hasn't been doing that much.
Is he a big hitter?
He's
paid like a big hitter, but I wouldn't.
But he's
a supporting player
when
in
he
a
was
lineup.
with Cleveland, he was a better hitter.
In no way should Carlos Santana be hitting fourth on a contending team.
No, he's like a 6 or a 7 hitter on a good team, on a real good hitting team.
Fourth for the Phillies.
All right. Well, that's. What about Cincinnati? Eugenio Suarez on Cincinnati. Is he still around?
I mean, he's having a good season.
He wouldn't be a
He
bad.
leads that team in RBI.
He's
and
not a
that's
bad
a team
hitter.
with Joey Votto on it,
I
so
mean,
that's pretty impressive.
He's a good hitter. I mean, Cincinnati. Anybody has to be available on that team.
Yes.
That's
Is he an upgrade over Franco?
Is he? You watch the
think
National
so.
League more than I do.
I think so.
I mean, he's a guy who's always been a pretty good hitter. I mean, he wouldn't be a bad pickup for them.
Not at all.
Moustakas. I like Moustakas. I think Moustakas could really help.
Absolutely.
I mean,
so could Adrian Beltre. I think they trade someone that's going to be for Adrian Beltre because he fits
then
that.
You won't have to give up anything.
He looks good when these fucking analytics nerd type in the shit on the computer.
He's also
Adrian Beltre looks really good.
Even at 40
because he gets
years
on
old,
base, he doesn't strike out that much.
You know what? Even at 40 years old, he's still as good as it gets defensively at third base. He's still a phenomenal defensive third baseman. Always has been. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer, so you just get that swagger and arrogance on your team with him. So that's another positive to have with him.
Sixers JT, I would not mind trading Herrera if we are getting Manny, but I agree he has been hot. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to do that. How are you improving your team?
I filled out my All-Star ballot this afternoon. I have Odubel Herrera starting in the National League outfield. I have him starting center fielder for the National League All-Star team. So I don't know why all these Philly fans are so anti-Odubel Herrera. It just doesn't make sense to me.
If you don't like
watch
him,
the games. Look at the stats.
You could send them to our team. I'll tell you what, that left-handed stroke that he's got in Yankee Stadium, he'd hit a lot of home runs to right field.
I mean, how many center fielders hit 5 home runs?
Nobody.
A home run in 5 straight games.
Center fielders are other than maybe Adam Jones, there's not very many center fielders that hit like that anymore.
Moniak, Crawford, Franco, Sixto Sanchez, whoever you want, Baltimore, take them all.
I mean,
and then give him $500 million to play shortstop for the next 15 years.
Rob, other than maybe George Springer and how many and Mike Trout.
George Springer. Does Trout play center?
He's a center fielder, isn't he?
I don't know.
I think he's a center fielder.
He plays outfield.
He plays center here.
He plays
and there,
center
Trout.
He plays center most of the time.
Most of the time, okay.
Yeah, I mean, but other than Trout,
some seasons it seems like some seasons he plays left. He's in right sometimes. He plays center.
It doesn't matter. He can play anywhere.
He can play anywhere. I get it.
And he's a Gold Glove wherever you put him because that's how good he is. But I mean, other than Trout and Springer, really, are there any better offensive center fielders than him? I mean, I named you 2, but that's to me. I mean, other than them, who's better? Who's better at center field? I take him over Adam Jones at this stage of his career.
Absolutely.
I mean, Adam Jones hasn't been all that great the last couple of years.
I mean, Harper plays right.
Harper's a right fielder. He's not a center fielder.
Matt Kemp plays left. Who's over the long haul? I mean, Matt Kemp's having a phenomenal season.
We'll see about what happens in August and September. I mean, if the Dodgers are smart with him,
AJ Pollock's always hurt,
and they keep him from playing every game. They rest him enough. He might be able to maintain it.
What does Betts play? Is Betts in center?
Betts is a right fielder.
Who plays center there? Is Jackie Bradley?
Jackie, I can't hit a beach ball Bradley.
Okay, I mean, so yeah, I guess your statement is correct.
Benintendi plays left,
and I understand. Herrera goes cold sometimes. Herrera probably strikes out a little too much.
Nobody other than Trout who hits every game. Nobody. Everybody goes through cold
I don't
streaks.
understand. I don't understand the sentiment that Odubel Herrera is poison, a cancer. You can't win with him. I don't buy any of that.
That's ridiculous. That's like these idiots that are saying Bryce Harper is a cancer and you can't win with Bryce Harper. Really?
What if the Phillies? What if the Phillies
Let me ask you a
sign?
question. If the Nationals last year had a bullpen, okay, do you think they would have lost that series to the Dodgers? Their bullpen
know.
blew every game last year, and they blew
Dodgers
every game again.
Dodgers had a pretty good team last year.
I know, but the Nationals were ahead in every game in the playoffs.
It's true.
And against the Cubs, the same thing. They had the lead in every game, and they lost.
Well, this is why they were proactive,
why
trading
they
for
went
Kelvin
at-
Herrera.
yeah, exactly.
And really shored things up.
And now they got between him and Doolittle, they've got a really good bullpen. They have a right-left combination, which is like back in the old days. Remember how back in the old days every team had a right-handed and left-handed closer on their team? It wasn't the closer. It wasn't just one guy.
But
I mean that's
other teams that could get Machado. I mean,
L.A. for sure.
the Dodgers for sure.
Maybe-
Arizona's a sleeper team.
Maybe Boston.
Maybe Boston.
Maybe Boston. Although they don't have
He would play
their-
third there though,
their
which is something he
farm
doesn't want to
system-
do.
their farm system though is not. Their farm system is pretty much up. They don't have really any big.
Well,
any big
I
guys
mean,
on the unless they
You
gave up-
start with Devers.
Would you trade Machado for Devers?
I don't.
If I were the Orioles, I
See,
wouldn't want
the
him.
Orioles have screwed this process up so much that they're not going to get full value from Machado at this point.
I know, but Devers. They
Devers
can't
and a
get him.
couple of other guys that maybe
You have to
are
give me-
promising
you're
that
gonna have to
aren't
give me-
quite
You're
there.
gonna have to give me Eduardo Rodriguez. I wouldn't make any trade without him being included. He's a good.
They're
young
not going to
pitcher.
get him. They're not.
I
They're
know,
not
but-
going to give up pitching for.
That's what the Orioles really, really need. I mean, that's
Well-
something that they are desperately for.
The Astros have poor ownership, and they've really screwed this up. They might end up getting more for Zach Britton than they get. That's not true, but you get what I'm saying. They've really.
Yeah, I do. But boy, Zach Britton. Did you see that horror show he had on Friday night?
I haven't tracked him since he was been activated.
Okay, well
honestly.
let me give you a quick. The Orioles had it was a tie game in the ninth inning, and the Orioles scored 6 runs in the top of the ninth inning to take an 8-2 lead, and Zach Britton gave it back in the bottom of the ninth, and the Orioles ended up losing that game in extra innings. No, the Orioles won the game in extra innings, but Zach Britton gave the game away in the bottom of the ninth inning. Yeah,
Well,
I could just imagine Buck Showalter's face when that happened.
Well, I mean,
Oh, my
give
God.
him a chance to get his feet wet. What if the Phillies traded both of them? Traded for both of them?
For Britton and Brock?
No, Britton and
Britton
Machado.
and Machado. What about Brock instead of Britton?
Cool.
Brock is pretty good.
Brock blew the game yesterday for him, but
Brock's been pretty good for the most part this season. He's,
but he's Walter Johnson compared to the trash that the Phillies have in their bullpen.
Yes, and Britton, if Britton just needs to pitch, and get his arm strength back. But Britton,
I agree.
Britton would be a.
That is a devastating. I mean, we in Philly we know about Achilles injuries. I mean,
Yeah,
Ryan Howard was never the same after
Listen,
his.
Lawrence Taylor had that's what caused Lawrence Taylor to retire after he tore his Achilles. He lost about 6 steps and he retired like a year later. That's a killer for any athlete.
So we got the Machado sweepstakes could be the Phillies. I don't think the Yankees are going to be involved in that.
No,
The Red Sox might be.
They might be.
The Cubs certainly should be.
The Dodgers.
The Dodgers, and I think a sleeper team in the whole thing are the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. Okay.
They would if they got
Who's their shortstop? Owings.
They have Owings, Ketel Marte.
They could use a shortstop. Yeah. They're
Danny
okay,
DeScalco plays all over the place for them.
They're okay, but that would obviously be a huge upgrade for them.
Machado is the best shortstop in the game.
Agreed. No question.
He's an upgrade
about
for
that.
everyone except for maybe the Indians with Lindor.
Well, Lindor's probably better defensively, but he's not as good offensively. Definitely not. I mean, Machado The only thing I would say about Machado, he's very, very streaky, as you know.
Well, he's been pretty streaky. He's been pretty
He's
hot.
been pretty hot this year. But he can be a little streaky, but you know what? He'd be a plus on anybody's team, and he certainly is somebody that you have to look at as well.
And then you look at the Phillies. I think they need a corner outfielder. I am
They're a
not
dime.
comfortable with Nick
They're a-
Williams being the future of left field.
They're a dime a dozen. You can always
Well,
find
how come the Phillies don't have 3 good ones then? They mess around with Aaron Altair and Nick Williams, and Nick Williams is better than Aaron Altair. Aaron Altair terrible.
the guy I mentioned before, Adam Jones. He's going to be a free agent. He's a guy that you could rent. He'd be an upgrade. He'd be an upgrade.
Because, I mean, you say outfielders are a dime a dozen, but the
are.
Phillies haven't had 3 good outfielders in years.
Because they don't go out and bring anybody in. I mean, the outfielders are the easiest players to find. The easiest good hitter to find is an outfielder. Because
Clearly not.
clearly not for the Phillies, maybe. But
Well, everyone else can do it.
I mean, even
This is why I listen to you talk about Cashman being a moron, and I just
well, when it
shake
just
my
comes-
head.
when it comes to those two
It's
players.
ridiculous
are just-
statements.
those two players are getting on
Would
my
Brian
nerves.
Cashman ever even give Nick Williams or Aaron Altair the time of day?
Maybe Nick Williams.
Never.
I don't know about
The answer is
Altair.
no. The correct answer is no. Never.
Probably not.
Not in a million billion fucking years, because they're not good enough to play for the Yankees. Because the Yankees win championships and the Phillies don't.
Yet.
They have
I
2 in their franchise. The
All
Yankees had 27.
But you got you know you
Cashman's
gotta
been the GM of how many World Series championship teams? You can't even count. You need both fingers,
boy.
probably.
Yeah.
You need both hands,
Probably.
probably.
Watson retired. Watson left in 96, so I guess 98, 99, 2000, and 2009. 4 championship teams, but all these teams have never not been over 500. They're always contending. They're almost always in the playoffs. So
The least amount of games Brian Cashman's won
86.
as a GM,
No,
86, 80, 84, 85,
Wow.
something. Middle 80s.
Yeah, he's never been under 500. So I mean, there is something to be said. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, it's the payroll." It's not necessarily.
They don't have the highest payroll. They haven't for years.
No, and their payroll has gone steadily.
They bought a championship in 09.
Agreed with that.
Absolutely.
That's fine.
They did.
But since then,
But let's be honest, okay? AJ Burnett, you think he was worth $80 million?
no.
That was a
He
terrible.
was in
sign.
2009.
He had.
But everyone forgets about that because his signing led to a championship.
Yes, it did.
And Cole Hamels
and
didn't show up
Sabathia-
for the 2009 World Series.
And
He was missing in action.
Sabathia was outstanding that year.
Sabathia, Tex.
Tex was Tex.
Tex,
That's right. They
yeah.
signed him too that year.
Tex
they
was
went on a-
unbelievable. I don't really know what happened. He hurt his
He
wrist
led
or
the-
something.
Well, that was later. But that year he hit 39 home runs. That's right.
In the grand scheme of things, the Teixeira contract was bad too. But they got a championship out of it.
Well, and so was the A-Rod contract, but when they
They got a
redid it after
championship out of
2000
it.
I know they did. And he had a very good playoff. Not a great World Series, but a very good playoff.
Well, he
And
never had good postseasons. That's
No,
that's
the
just
only
the
good
MO
post-
on A-Rod. He
the
got
only-
scared or choked or whatever you want to say.
The only good postseason he ever had was 2009, and that's when they won a championship. He had a great postseason that year.
And they had Gardner. But
Gardner,
even those
Melky Cabrera,
even those championships in the 90s, they didn't buy those championships. They developed those
well, they had
championships.
They,
They
had,
developed all that talent from their farm system.
they did. They had
Bernie
Jeter,
Williams,
Jeter,
Jeter,
Jeter, yeah.
Cano.
Cano came up. He
who
was later. I
no,
mean,
Cano was up in 2009.
2009. I'm talking about the last run, the 98 to 01.
Oh, that was all their farm system.
Right.
Posada,
That's my point.
Yeah,
Posada, Rivera, Jeter.
Yeah, that whole actually. Yeah, I mean, Scott.
Wasn't
Brocious,
Gary Sheffield in the mix for
No,
those
not,
teams?
not with those teams. Scott Brocious. I mean,
David
they traded
Justice
him.
was on those teams. He was
David
he was a
Justice
free
was a-
agent.
Wasn't
No,
Darryl
no, it was
on
a
one of
trade.
those teams?
Trade.
They traded for
What's
him.
that?
Wasn't Darryl Strawberry on one of those teams?
Yes, he was.
96,
They picked him up off-
7?
They scooped him.
Oh,
up
they didn't
off
win
the
in
trash heap.
97. The Marlins won in
The Marlins
97.
won
They
in
picked him up.
97.
They picked him up in 96.
But Pettit,
Pettit was a draft pick. Let me think. Cone was a trade.
some of their
Cone.
pitchers were
Molina,
trades.
yeah.
What's the guy? What's his name?
Mike Mussina was a free agent,
Mussina.
I think.
Mussina was not
Wow.
on that. Was not on that team.
Which
was-
one?
He was not. He was not a member of the 96 through 2001 era.
Mike Mussina never won a championship with the Yankees?
No, he did not.
You sure?
Yep. positive. He retired in 2008. He got there in 2001 and pitched from 2001 to 2008.
So he was on the team that lost to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
Yes, he
and the
was.
one against the Marlins.
Right.
The second time, yeah.
But
That the
Posada,
Marlins
isn't it?
won.
Posada? I mean, they
So
didn't-
Brian Cashman's he's picking all these players.
Well, no,
Bernie Williams, where did he come from?
Well, that was Watson.
Okay.
But he was drafted.
All right.
He was
So-
drafted. I mean, but no, Brian Cashman has done a terrific job as far as drafting players. I mean, he's definitely got an eye for talent. It just I just question. It just seems like every time
Yankee Bob,
signed
Nick
the
Swisher
guy.
was a great signing in 2009.
Nick Swisher was not a signing; he was a trade.
Trade. I
It
mean,
was a
whatever.
trade, yeah.
That was a trade. They traded with
Jimmy Key
the White
was
Sox.
Jimmy Key was a free agent signing.
Jimmy Key was a free agent.
I don't
signing.
even know who that is.
Jimmy Key was outstanding. Yeah, Bob mentioned Jimmy Key.
Yes.
Jimmy Key was great, Bob. You're right about him. Jimmy Key was terrific.
All right, we got to take a break.
What about David Wells? Was he a free agent signing, or did we trade for him? I can't
He was on the
remember.
Blue Jays. I feel like I remember him on the White Sox.
Yeah, I just can't remember.
I don't
When
remember.
the Yankees.
I don't know
got
where he
him,
started. I'd have to look it
I
up.
know they traded him for Clemens, but I just can't remember if they picked if he was a free agent or not.
All right, we'll look it up and let you know after the debate. We're just a NBA draft review after the break, along with more baseball, Phillies, Yankees, everything. Sports Hounds will be back right after this.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Welcome back, Sports Hounds, A2D Radio, presented by Gibson Mayer, LLC. I'll take a break from baseball for a second. NBA Draft was last Thursday. And boy, Brett Brown certainly made a strong first impression being the interim GM.
Little controversial.
So they picked Mikal Bridges at pick 10. And, I like Mikal Bridges. I think he's a bench player in the NBA. He's a role player. Which is fine. It could have been a nice little fit here. Shoot, defense, big body, but they elect to trade Bridges to the Suns for Zaire Smith, who I think is an athletic freak, led Texas Tech to the Elite Eight. I believe Nova knocked them out, no? In the Elite Eight, Frank?
That is correct.
That is
I think
correct.
that was the only team that actually gave them a battle. I think they smoked everybody else, didn't they?
But, and they get a 2021 unprotected draft pick from the Suns through the Heat. So, and Twitter broke. My Facebook feed broke. Everybody's freaking out.
I think everybody broke.
Yeah, everybody was pretty upset with that.
How can you do that? His mom works for the Sixers and everything. See how happy they were? It's professional sports. It's not friendship club. Brett Brown is getting the players.
He made a very
thinks,
shrewd. He made a very shrewd trade.
and I love that about him. I love that about the move.
I think that was.
It was not a tough thing to do.
That was a.
You knew he was going to
trade.
get killed from a PR standpoint, but
Yeah.
I don't care that Mikal Bridges' mom is the head of HR for the Philadelphia 76ers.
What does that have to do with anything?
It has nothing to do. And for
They went and took a future. Okay, they got a guy that they may be able to use.
who's
and
more
maybe they
attractive in a trade for Kawhi Leonard, Mikal Bridges or Zaire Smith?
won't. Neither one. I'll tell you what's more attractive is.
Well, it's obviously going to be a package.
Is a unprotected first round pick of the Miami Heat in 2021.
Well, you're not getting Kawhi Leonard for just that, just the pick.
No, I know that, but that's a nice little tidbit to throw in there, though.
So
That's a real.
I have no problem with the trade. I would have taken. There
That's
are
a
other
nice
players
future.
that were on the board that I would have taken instead of Bridges, and who I like better than Zaire Smith. Lonnie Walker being one of them, the main one, which is who I said I wanted if they stayed at 10 and didn't move up into the top 5 in the show prior
Let me ask you a question
to the draft.
and you tell me if this is true. I know the Knicks fans were furious that the Knicks didn't take Fort Porter at 9. I mean, was that
Knicks fans are stupid. Knicks fans are crying
Is
after
he-
Porzingis, and he's
is
one of
he-
the before his ACL injury, he was one of the biggest emerging stars in the whole league.
Am I
Knicks
missing
fans are
something?
stupid.
Isn't that guy like supposedly, from what I've
Yeah,
heard,
bad back.
His,
He has a
his
bad back.
is so bad they don't think he's going to last more than 2
Right.
years in the
I don't know how
NBA.
bad his back is.
From
I'm
what
glad he's not on the
from what I've
Sixers.
I mean, from what I heard, like if he re-injured his back, he could be done. Like
That's
even
what
if
I heard,
before
too.
he would step court, if he was playing in the summer league, re-injures his back, his career's done.
Frank, they're saying that his back is so bad they don't think he'll last more than 2 years
Right.
in the NBA. And
I thought the Knicks did well at 9.
I
think they did
like the
okay
Knox
with that
pick.
kid. He's okay. He's okay. I mean, listen, he's going to be a project. I don't think he's going to
Look,
be.
Michael Porter has been the number one in his recruiting class through high school. He was the projected number. If he was allowed to come out of the draft out of high school, he would have been the number 1 pick.
Right.
If he didn't get hurt, they're saying he's the slam dunk number 1
Oh,
pick.
yeah.
Even if he's healthy, my
Health
point
is
I'm
everything,
my
though.
point I'm making is I never got it. I never understood the hype around him.
He sank like a stone. When did he end up getting picked up anyway?
He went 14th to the
He went
Nuggets.
14th to the
14th.
Nuggets.
So obviously, all the Knicks fans that were screaming bloody murder. Okay,
I don't get it.
When they didn't draft him. Well, you know what? Neither did Philly. Neither did the 11th pick or the 12th pick or the 13th pick. So you know what? Apparently, a lot of GMs must have gotten that injury report that he may not last more than 2 years with his back.
Yankees just got out of a jam in the bottom of the sixth. Phillies had second and third with one out and could not
Were they
cash
bold
in.
enough to go after Herrera?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it all went down. But getting back to the draft, the Sixers don't owe Mikal Bridges anything. They don't owe.
Oh, we just got breaking news. Your rookie of the year for the NBA is none other than Ben Simmons.
That's fantastic.
He is your rookie of the year.
Great news.
Woo!
Is that a surprise?
I mean, a lot of
I think
people
that
were
was
saying he
assumed.
didn't deserve it because he sat out his
Not a
rookie year with
rookie.
He's
But,
not a
Bl-
rookie.
but Blake
no, he's a
Griffin
rookie.
won the rookie
Blake
of the
Griffin.
year after sitting out an entire year.
David Robinson sat out 2 years.
Yeah.
What about I mean, was Embiid considered a rookie?
Yeah, he was considered a rookie, but he didn't win because of what was his name? Malcolm Brogdon.
Malcolm
won.
Brogdon won.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm surprised Embiid wasn't considered a rookie. How many games did he play the year before? 24, 25?
But Ben Simmons played 0, and he got
Yeah.
rookie of the year.
No. I understand. I'm just wondering what the how many games you have to play, because I know you have to play a certain number of games in Major League Baseball before you're considered.
I
It's
think
not
with
like
the
that in
I think
baseball.
with
If
the
you suit up
NBA,
for a
it's
game,
you
you
suit up
just-
for a game and you step on a court. Then I guess it's when it's recorded that you are a rookie. But
okay.
Other than
So if you
that,
play one game 1 year, you're not a rookie the following year?
apparently,
Oh, okay.
at least that's what I'm
So I
saying.
know baseball, you can play like 20, 30 games and still
Yeah.
be a rookie the following season.
But getting back to the draft in the Sixers, I thought the Knicks did very well at number 9 getting Kevin Knox. I like Kevin Knox a lot. I like him better than Porter. I thought Cleveland got a very good player.
I like the Sexton pick.
Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
We'll see if he plays with LeBron James next year, or they trade, or what LeBron James.
you
gonna
know,
do.
I've been hearing reports that LeBron James might stay in Cleveland.
He might.
Because Cleveland is desperately trying to make a move to bring in Kawhi Leonard. I just don't.
I don't know how they're going to get Kawhi Leonard. They could make a move for Kemba Walker,
I've heard that one too.
and that might.
Would Kemba Walker be enough for LeBron to say, okay,
See,
I'll
LeBron
stay?
is so good; he doesn't need much help, but he does need help.
Yeah, but he can't play 1-on-5 against the Warriors.
I mean, even if they get Kemba Walker, they're still not better than the Warriors, but they wouldn't get swept.
No, they'd win a game or two. Most definitely. Listen, you never know. You know, if guys get hurt, guys can get hurt. You know, maybe the Warriors won't have their full team next year in the playoffs.
But the latest on Kawhi Leonard, June 29th, which is Friday, is going to be a big day. That's when LeBron has to decide he's going to opt in or opt out, his player option. That's when all those guys have to.
Wow, okay.
Now, he's going to opt out because he's going to sign the Supermax, which he's not playing under right now. So I think he's going to opt out either way and sign the 5-year, 208-year, whatever the Supermax. I forget, 5, 8 years, $200 million. That's what he's going to sign. That's what Steph Curry got. That's what Westbrook's getting. That's what Harden's getting. That's the new max, according to the new CBA that they figured out. So he's going to opt out regardless. Whether him and Dan
we know he's going to opt out, but will he go back? That doesn't mean he won't go back to Cleveland, though.
Understood, but
that's all I'm saying. I mean,
you know, if he wants to own a team one day and he's going to need his most money, because LeBron can get the most money from the Cavs.
Yes, he can.
So maybe he will stay. I think he's either going to the Sixers or staying in Cleveland. I'm not buying all this noise with the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't know why that's still a thing.
Because his kids have been enrolled in private school in LA.
But he's looked at
Yeah.
schools in Philadelphia
Yeah, he looked-
supposedly
yeah.
for his kids. He's looked at schools in Houston
but he's
for his
already,
kids.
But he's already enrolled them, though. That's all I'm saying. I mean, that doesn't.
But
that
that,
doesn't
but I
necessarily
mean, like,
that he's
even
gonna
the
go there.
school that denies any reports about it, that's saying something. That
But he could also unenroll them too. And
That
go
is
somewhere
true.
Else. I mean, he
Right.
doesn't. He could. I mean, he has so much money. Even if they kept his money, he could just pay to them to be in another private school. I mean, what school is going to deny his kids entry into their school? Nobody.
right.
So,
And
I mean, he could send them to Bishop Eustace for crying out loud, and then he could play to the for the
Oh,
Sixers.
jeez, South Jersey would go nuts if
Hey,
LeBron recruited his kid to a South Jersey school.
Let me ask you a
That'd be
question.
crazy.
Is that impossible?
It's not impossible. I
Isn't
mean,
that supposedly a really good basketball school?
Eustace?
Didn't it used
I
to?
know that they
They're
are a good
okay.
baseball program.
They're okay.
Didn't they be a little more than okay though? You know what I
Eustace?
enjoy the most though? Leon, what's his name? The ball kid not getting drafted. How great was that?
He wasn't supposed to.
I know, but
And not
Big
invited
Mouth
to the
LeVar-
summer league team was
Right.
hilarious.
And Big Mouth LeVar making like he was going to be a draft. He's going to be a first round pick. Yeah, right. Keep talking, LeVar. You're gonna get your kid run out of L.A. and good for you.
But either the Sixers or the Lakers are going to end up getting nada.
Haloti?
terms of-
Nada?
Yeah. Haloti nada. Not Haloti nada.
Oh,
but
not
nada,
that nada.
But nada. As
Oh.
in none of the three
none
max
of the
players.
three. Oh, okay.
Obviously, I hope it's L.A., but I've read multiple stuff online where Paul George wants to go back. He wants to opt in with Oklahoma City and play with Russell Westbrook and Carmelo
Really?
Anthony.
Oh, so he wants to play there again.
Well, it's a one-year option. He could still be a free agent if he wants to in 2019.
No,
but
I just find that interesting. He must have really enjoyed playing there then, because all reports
they
indicated
had
that
a
he
good
was gonna-
team.
they had a very good team.
But I don't see the Lakers as being like a top-notch destination.
Not yet.
Paul George has a better chance of going to the finals with Russell Westbrook on his team than Lonzo Ball on his team.
I think you're right.
And LeBron, and then the Spurs have already pretty much come out and said, like, to Kawhi, like, look, dude, we want to work this out. We want you to be on our team. But if you don't want to be on our team, we're not trading you to anybody in the West.
Right, which probably has pissed him off to no end.
Right.
So I just don't get what.
And
what is
then
going on?
Kawhi counters with, okay, well, whatever team you trade me to in the East, I'm just going to play 1 year there and then sign with the Lakers.
Yeah, well, that's been. I mean, if San Antonio traded
I'm still
him to the
trading
Lakers,
I'm not giving up as much as if Kawhi is one. I'm still trying to trade for Kawhi, even if I only have him for 1 year. I'm still trying to do it.
Yeah, because you know what? Here's the thing.
I'm giving up significantly less than if I can sign him to an extension.
But here's the thing. If you trade Kawhi here, okay, even if it's 1 year, don't forget, if he's a Sixer, you could still pay him the most money in free agency.
Right, you can do sign and trade.
You know, these guys can say whatever they want to say, okay? Money still talks. No matter how much
right,
money
and you
they
can
make.
sign him. You can do a sign and trade. And if it's really not working out, you can trade him at the trade deadline and get
And you can
something
get a lot.
back.
Yeah, you can probably. Who knows? You can flip him and maybe get more. You know,
Right.
Or you know what? Who knows?
You got to
maybe-
keep him out of Boston. You can't let
I agree, but
those
you know what?
stinky Celtics get a hold of him.
I agree, but you know what? Here's the thing. Maybe if he plays here, maybe he actually likes it here.
Right.
Do you ever
Look
think,
at Paul
did
George.
anybody actually think of that? Hey, it's not so terrible living
Look
down
at Paul
here.
George. The Pacers or the Thunder give up Sabonis and Oladipo for him,
And he was
and
insisting that he was going
everyone
there.
thought he's Lakers bound, and now now the fact that he liked it there and he's staying there, he might opt in now.
Yeah, well, the whole thing is some guys like small markets too. I mean
I
that's
don't know.
that's
I think he
possible,
likes
although-
his. I think he likes playing. I think he thinks he has a good team there,
I think
which
you're right.
I think he does.
I think he does have a good team.
I think
there.
Russell Westbrook's a good team guy. I wouldn't really want him on my team, but he's really good.
He's not a bad player though.
Carmelo Anthony can still play a role, and he's obviously going to opt into his $27 million player
Carmelo
option.
Anthony at this stage of his career though, is
$27
best
million
served-
is going to be he's going to make
He's
next
making
year.
a lot, and you know what? He's best served though as a sixth man, because he can't play defense anymore.
He could really never play defense.
Well, yeah, but he used to make it appear that he was playing defense. Now it doesn't even appear that he plays defense.
And a lot of chatter on here. Frankie Deems, hot take that. Donovan Mitchell, Ben Simmons, Rookie of the Year. Well deserved. If Donovan Mitchell
Yeah.
got that,
That would be
award.
just
That would be. I
anti-Philly.
would never.
That would be anti-Philly.
I
all
mean,
the way.
it was gonna be
Ben Simmons
either
was
Simmons or
great this
Mitchell,
year.
regardless.
Ben
It was
Obviously.
gonna be down to those
And I think
two.
Donovan
Ben
Mitchell
Simmons
had a
was great this
fantastic
year. Right.
season. I think Donovan Mitchell's going to be a great player
yeah.
in the league for a long time. But sometimes you get boned based on who's in your rookie class.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of great players who didn't win Rookie of the Year.
Right.
A ton.
Even last
yeah.
year, both Joel Embiid and Dario Saric both had great seasons, and they both got
They're not
boned by
Rookies of the
Brogdon.
Year. I mean, how many Hall of Famers? Is
Right.
Scottie Pippen ever Rookie of the Year?
No.
was Jordan?
Let's find out.
But the
I
point
don't think
being
Jordan
is
was.
I think
for
he
that
was.
for that award to have any type of respect going further, it has to be Ben Simmons.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no, Ben Simmons
I think
was the
that
best player-
the
was the best
margin
player last
between
year.
Ben Simmons and Donovan Mitchell was so good.
Jordan did win Rookie of the Year. Yep.
He did win
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year. Okay. Okay.
A lot of
I
good
mean, a
names
lot of
on
good
here.
player. I mean, Charles
Yeah.
Barkley didn't win Rookie of the Year,
Yeah, but he was a great player, though. No,
but
no,
I think that.
no
But my
question.
point being is, I think the gap between Simmons and Mitchell was so big that writers were just trying to say like, oh, let's try
Right.
and make.
And if it weren't for a late season Jazz run going into the playoffs, I mean, Donovan Mitchell will probably not been in the conversation.
Probably not.
Probably not. Making the playoffs matters,
Yeah.
because Utah wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to be good this
They
year.
weren't supposed to be in the playoffs.
No,
this
because they
year.
lost Hayward, and Donovan Mitchell stepped right in and,
Yeah.
and filled that role really well.
I think part of the issue, though, part of the issue as far as the Celtics are concerned is, as good as they were last year, now in the playoffs they're going to have, they did well in the playoffs. Now they're going to have Kyrie back. They're going to have what's his name?
Gordon Hayward.
Gordon Hayward
Hayward.
back. I mean, that's
It's a good team.
yeah.
Imagine
I
if
know.
they get Kawhi Leonard. That 73 win.
I'm just wondering something.
That
Do you
73
think-
win record that the Warriors set in the regular season, that would go bye-bye.
Let me ask you a question. I know
Bye-bye.
maybe this sounds crazy, but think there's any chance Kyrie could be traded for Kawhi?
I would do that trade in 5 seconds out of the Celtics.
No, I mean, do you
Maybe.
think that's a possibility?
I'd be surprised if the Popovich
Even up?
and whoever runs their front office
Yeah,
were
but if
able
they
to
have
get
to, but if they
that
have
type
to make
of
a trade,
return.
but if they have to make a trade,
I would
like-
only do that if Leonard would sign an extension. Because Terry Rozier
well, Kyrie's going to be a free agent too. After
Terry
after next season.
Rozier can easily start at point guard for them. If you part ways with Kyrie, Terry Rozier is an excellent player. He was an excellent player at Louisville. He
all
was
I'm saying
excellent in the
is,
playoffs
look
last
at
year.
Look at how far Boston got last year without Kyrie. Now, if they trade Kyrie for Kawhi's a better player than Kyrie probably all around, right?
Yeah, not even close.
Okay. San Antonio's not going to get equal value for Kawhi Leonard.
No.
That might be. I mean, both of them can be free agents after this year. That might be. I'm just thinking out loud. Is
If
that
the
a
Spurs get
possibility?
that kind of return for Kawhi Leonard, they're going to be a top 3 seed in the West. They were the 6 or 7 seed last year, basically without Kawhi Leonard for the whole season.
Yeah.
They have LaMarcus Aldridge, an excellent big man.
I mean,
Danny Green can play.
Well, let me put it on you. What do you think? Would that trade work? I mean, it work.
Yeah,
it would work
work.
financially because they both are making the big bucks, so they could both sneak them in under their salary caps.
I hope not.
But I hope not too. But I'm just thinking.
The Celtics aren't going to have to, because the Spurs are backed into a corner.
Yeah, I know.
Because he might not show up if they don't trade him. And then you're in the same position you were.
Yeah, but is he really going to sit out 2 years of his career?
Jordan took 2 years off.
Yeah, but Jordan won 3 championships in a row. Well, he had Kawhi won one. What, 2?
Kawhi
won 2.
won one
or two.
championship. He's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's been first team All-NBA twice.
So he's got his rings. So
He didn't forget how to play basketball. He's
Right.
not Markelle Fultz.
no, he got the yips last year though. I mean, I still think Markelle Fultz is going to be okay.
I hope so.
It may not be in a Sixer uniform.
I
but
hope
he's
so.
going to be okay. I mean, he's too talented not to be. I don't know what happened to him, but He probably got the yips. Hopefully for him, he'll get over it. 'Cause that'd be
Frankie
a shame.
Deems, why do they need Kawhi, though? Hayward is coming back from injury. They took Boston to 7 games. I mean, why would you not? Like, everybody needs Kawhi Leonard. He's a top 5 player in the league.
Yeah, I mean
If you can get him, you get him. And all indications are that Gordon Hayward's not going to be ready opening night.
Gordon Hayward may not
At
be
least
ready
according
till,
to Danny Ainge.
He may not be ready till like Thanksgiving for all we know. I mean,
Porzingis could play before.
Porzingis is
Hayward
most
does.
likely out till Christmas from all I've heard.
But I mean, everybody needs Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard fits anywhere.
It is now 2-1, by the way.
Oh, look at the Phils showing some fight.
Yay!
So it's 2-1, 1 out in the 7th
pitching?
inning. For the Yankees.
Is that guy you were freaking out about earlier?
No, I think
Is he
Robertson's
pitching?
I think Robertson's pitching.
What's his name?
Chasen Shreve. Oh, he better
Jason
not be.
Shreve.
He better not be.
So the
I
worst
can't
hitter
imagine.
on your bench and
Well, the worst
the
hitter
worst
on our bench is
pitcher on your
playing.
bench.
Oh, by the way, Neil Walker.
Well, yeah, you actually have to use some strategy when you play in the National League.
Neil
You
Walker
can't just
in his at
You
bat.
can't just fill out a lineup of cleanup hitters and just go at it. You can make double
No.
switches. You need to play
I know, but
matchups.
Neil Walker.
It's actually
in his,
real strategic
one-
baseball in the National
in his one
League,
at bat.
unlike the American League, which is
In
stupid.
his one at bat, he struck out. So
Oh, yeah.
Down
Okay.
to
Yeah, Cashman's a
191.
moron. Yep.
well,
He's
to
a
have
moron.
to have him playing and Drury in the minors hitting 340, that's moronic. I'm sorry. You can't tell me that there's any intelligence involved there.
Scott Kingery singled to left. Santana scored.
So it's 2-1. So you got a runner on
Bottom of the
first,
7th,
1 out.
1 out.
Wonder if they're going to go to Betances soon.
They probably should. But
Then who's
just
gonna
to
pitch
wrap
the
up
eighth?
the NBA, I don't care that Mikal Bridges got traded. I really don't. I don't care that his mom is the head of HR. I don't care that he played for Villanova. Let me ask you guys this, and you, Frank, this. If Mikal Bridges played for Louisville or Florida or Arizona or Duke, is there any outrage over him getting dealt?
No, none.
No.
None.
But if he was in a different uniform, I would have been fine taking him regardless.
I would be fine,
I've
but
been fine with it.
they traded him.
But they traded him.
I mean, the writing was kind of on the wall. The only 2 prospects were in for multiple workouts for the Sixers, according to media reports. That was Kevin Knox, who they didn't have a chance at. The Knicks took him at 9, and Zaire Smith. So, the writing was kind of on the wall that they were going to try and grab one or both of those players on draft night.
Right. It was either going to be Bridges or Smith. But I think had they took Smith at 10, I would considered it to be a reach a little bit. But I could see what they were going for, trading down a little bit. But
that was, if they did do that at 10, I would be fine with it.
right. And I knew they worked out Smith twice for instead of Bridges with. He only worked out once with the team.
Yeah, Smith
So-
and Knox worked out multiple
Yeah.
times. Maybe
And
other guys
and-
worked out multiple times. I have no
And then
idea.
there was
but I
also
know
the
those two
uncertainty
did.
of the Knicks also trying to take Bridges at 9. I mean, that was a lot. That was a lot of things going on with that potential trade. And then when they saw the Suns had an offer, and they're like, "All right, we want Bridges. We'll give you this draft pick, and we'll give you who you want to take."
Just to wrap up the NBA draft quickly, what are the Hawks doing? What is wrong with them?
What
are they
I
doing?
was laughing
Racing
much.
to the bottom.
I mean, they pretty much I mean,
I was laughing so
look
much.
at Don. He's been a professional basketball player since he's 15 years old. He's got a smoking hot mom, and you trade him away for Trae Young.
For Trae Young.
For Trae Young.
Trae Young, the
Trae Young-
zero calorie Steph Curry, as I like to refer to him as.
But not everyone who leads the nation in 3-point shooting is Steph Curry.
Right.
Steph Curry can guard people.
Steph Curry is good.
He's a real good player.
Like he
Steph
can do
Curry was
more
special
than,
when he was at
can do more than
Davidson.
just shoot threes.
Yeah.
He brings more to the table.
Yeah.
I get it. Trae Young had gaudy stats at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But once teams figured out that all the other players on Oklahoma stunk,
Yeah.
Trae Young's numbers dipped
Yeah,
big time.
and especially in conference play. And that's what everybody forgot about. It was like, yeah, his numbers look great, but
and they say that's why they did it because their GM, whoever
Yeah.
I forget his name, he was a part of the squad that picked Curry for the
Right.
Warriors. So he's saying, "Oh, this guy can shoot. He's the same as Steph Curry."
but
Doncic is 6'7".
yeah, Doncic has more
He's
upside.
a grown man at 18. He's been playing grown men for since he was 15.
Yeah,
And you take Trae Young. I
you
mean,
take Trae Young.
you work out a trade. They went Trae Young, so that was bad.
That was interesting.
That was bad. I mean, I know we dogged Michael Porter,
But
for his
Trae Young. Oh, jeez.
right? But the Trae Young. I mean, the Nuggets getting him at 14.
Right.
That was good.
But Trae Young at 3, well, technically the 5th overall pick. Yeah, that really dumbfounded me. It was like
I didn't understand that trade at all.
I just don't understand why Trae Young was a top 10
And
talent
the
in
Mavs,
the first place.
the Mavs did fantastic.
Yeah, the Mavs, great draft. The Suns, great draft. I mean, those are the two
I
teams
mean, yeah,
that stood
Ayton,
out.
Ayton seems like the
Yeah.
consensus #1 guy.
Yeah,
And they get Bridges who can play a key role. But even on a stinky team like the Suns, Bridges isn't going to start because they have Devin Booker at that slot. He's not going
Right.
to start over Devin Booker.
but could come off as a valuable 6th man or
right, but,
or
I mean,
or
who
valuable
cares?
bench player. But yeah,
They're going to lose 50 games again. Great.
Race to the bottom.
But, I mean, the Hawks were puzzling. I mean,
Well,
Porter
who's
goes.
Who's
Porter-
going to be the top? Who's going to be the top pick next year?
Oh, next year?
Yeah.
I don't know, Zion Williamson.
Zion Williams. I
mean,
think
is
I
he
think
a
it's
franchise? Is he
I
going to
think
be?
it's Cam Reddish, the
the
projected #1.
Are these guys going to be franchise players? You think, or
I mean,
are they going to be more like projects?
I know Zion.
what's his name? R.J. Barrett.
R.J.
Zion
Barrett.
Williams.
Cam Reddish. I mean, it's either going to be one of the Duke kids at #1
I'm sure Kentucky.
and maybe a Kentucky kid here and there because, with Calipari's recruits.
What about?
Nasir Little, Sekou Doumbouya, another one.
Okay.
But other than that, we just got to see how they play out this season, especially with the Duke kids. I know a lot of people are going to bank on Duke as probably your potential national champion.
Yeah, in the NHL, they already have the next season. Next season, there's going to be a generational player
Yeah.
coming out. Jack Hughes, the brother of Quinn Hughes, who was drafted, I think,
yeah,
by
that's
the
right.
Canucks. So I could see the NHL. I could see a lot of teams racing to the bottom
Yeah.
next year to get him, because he's supposed to be the next McDavid.
I'm looking at
So-
all these.
R.J.
Mocks.
Barrett, Nasir Little, Cameron Reddish.
Yeah.
Top 3 picks
For next year?
according to Bleacher Report. So not the best source.
And looking at NBA DraftNet, I got Barrett 1, Nasir Little 2, Sekou Doumbouya 3, Zion at 4 to Atlanta, Nazrion Reed 5, Rui Hachimura from Gonzaga going to Chicago.
Yeah, he's high on this one. I mean, we'll see
Yeah.
how that all plays.
Yeah.
Betances-
It's still early,
Betances came in, by the way, and got an out. So it's 2-1 after 7.
but no sign of Sharif O'Neal yet. That's something.
I mean, once these guys start playing,
Yeah.
they're gonna. This is all based off
Yeah.
ratings and AAU ball and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I thought the Kings didn't screw up at #2. They took Bagley. They should have taken Bagley. I think Bagley. We're gonna look at this draft in 5 years, and Bagley is gonna be the best guy.
Yeah, I don't think I had a problem with Bagley. I know
Is
some
Bagley's-
people.
Is Bagley's dad the Bagley that played for the Celtics many moons ago?
I don't know. Good question.
Remember John Bagley from the Celtics?
Marvin Bagley. Let's
No,
see.
but I mean, I saw a true freshman average 21 and 11 and shoot 60% from the field in the ACC.
Geez. Well,
So
he's going to be a good player. Then.
I would have taken him at 1 over Ayton just because I don't know about Ayton's motor. But Amari Spellman was drafted. Dante DiVincenzo was drafted in
Yeah.
the first round, went to the Milwaukee Bucks, I believe,
He did.
which I think that's a good fit for him. He's athletic. He can get to the hoop. They're big on, athletes running
Yeah.
the floor. Budenholzer will still do that.
By the way, Adam Morgan now on the mound for the.
Oh, boy.
so-
Game's over, everybody.
It's going to be about 8-1 in about 5
Yeah.
seconds. That guy stinks.
Oh, is he the Chase and Shreve of your team?
We'll trade right now. You take Adam
Huh.
Morgan, and we'll take
Shreve?
whoever that idiot is.
Oh, that's a good fact.
Oh, I'd make that
from-
trade.
Huh.
He must be pretty bad. He must be pretty bad if he's worse than Chase and Shreve.
Well, I don't even know who that is. So
Yeah, he's just horrible.
Is he related to Omar Sharif?
No. It's actually Shreve.
Oh, Sharif. Ah,
Sharif.
sounded like Sharif. I'm
Shreve,
like, oh.
Shreve, whenever he comes in the game, see my buddy Bob and I, whenever he comes in the game, we pronounce his name the same way Jerry Seinfeld used to say Newman.
Hello, Newman.
Well, no, he doesn't actually move his mouth. Newman. Yeah, he
Newman.
just with his lips.
Newman.
Newman. And
Newman.
we say Shreve. We don't open our
Shreve.
mouth when we say it because he's just such a shitty pitcher. I think every team has one of these guys that every time they come in, your blood boils because you cannot believe that the manager
Oh,
keeps
yeah.
putting him in. Yeah, I think every team has one of them.
Well, this is a cool fact that Foolish Demon put out in the chat. Oklahoma is the first team since 2006 with the Texas Longhorns to give 3 players in 3 major sports that have a guy drafted in the top 10. That I did not know.
I mean, okay.
All right. Well,
It was pretty
So
cool.
Baker
I mean,
Mayfield went
Baker
first.
Mayfield went first. Trey Young at 5, and then Kyler Murray went I think ninth overall.
Yeah.
And then the Longhorns, I mean, you had Vince Young taken 3rd overall that year in the 07 draft.
F. Dennis, I'm not saying this is in reference to Kawhi Leonard of the Celtics. I'm not saying they don't need him, but they have a team that has gone
Durant
far already.
and,
They
Drew
went
Stubbs.
to Eastern Conference Finals without Hayward. They can
No.
do it without him for
Not
a few
Durant.
months. Yes, I agree, F. Deems, that they can, but you're not beating Golden State even with Hayward and Kyrie
Three
at
months the
100%.
following year.
You need Kawhi in the mix to beat Golden State.
Oh,
So
LaMarcus
who-
Aldridge.
Who cares if you win? You go to the Eastern Conference Finals and win or lose.
yeah,
Who
at this
cares if you
point-
go to the NBA Finals and lose? If you're not first, you're last.
Well, yeah, I would agree with that. And unless you're a team that hasn't been there in 100 years.
You gotta. But it's like the Eagles last year. Yeah, they were underdogs the whole way, but they were there. If you're there, you might as well win.
Well, yeah. Yeah,
You're not gonna do that as constructed. You gotta man up. You gotta load up to beat the Warriors.
Well, that's the whole name of the game. Just getting to the championship is if you're the Celtics or the 76ers, getting to the finals is not good enough. You want to try to win a championship at this point. The Sixers last year were playing with house money. Okay? Boston last year was playing with house money. At this point, especially if
See,
LeBron
now I
is
don't
gone-
agree with that. That
Well,
the
without
Cleveland
listen,
Cavaliers are trash. They just have LeBron.
I know, but you have to remember one thing though. When Boston lost Kyrie, and they lost, in addition to Hayward, when they lost Kyrie,
Well, the
were
Celtics
they,
were significant
35?
favorites, significant underdogs against the Sixers and won.
they were
and they were
35,
significant.
but they were 35-1 to win the championship when they lost all those guys when the playoffs started.
Who gives a shit?
No, I'm just.
You're right there
I-
against a team
I
that
know, but
stinks,
they
that has the
almost-
best player in the world. You're at home. You got to win that game,
And they did.
and they didn't.
They didn't. So.
And everyone in the world knew they weren't because LeBron James is that good.
he is.
And
that
if
good.
LeBron James does, because it sucks with LeBron James. Because if he stays in Cleveland, everyone's just going to say, oh, why? He doesn't want to win. Thought he was a ring chaser. He's going to get killed for staying in Cleveland because he doesn't have
Well,
a good
he'll get
good
killed
enough
if he
team.
stays in Cleveland, and if he leaves, he's going to get killed.
Told you he would never go to the West.
Yeah,
That's what people will say.
Yeah, which I don't.
Too
think
scared to
that's-
play in a big market, I guess. No way he's going to go to L.A., Boston, or Philly.
Well, Miami is not a small market.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about sports down there.
They seem to give a shit about the Heat when the Heat were good.
Well, when you have LeBron, you
Yeah, that's
show
what I'm
up
saying.
when you have
When
LeBron.
they have morning, when
But
they
they were
had
in the
morning-
playoffs last year against the Sixers
Listen,
in
when
the
they had
playoffs,
morning-
and
when
they
they had
weren't even
morning-
selling out.
when they had Shaq and
Right, they're
who was it
fair
when they
weather
went-
fans.
yeah, they are. They are.
They're
We'll
not
see.
paying
We'll
attention.
see-
They're not
we'll see
doing
how many-
anything if the team's
We'll see
not
how
good.
many show up for the Dolphins this year. Who I
Well,
would.
the-
I think the Dolphins. Are
Well,
gonna
the
be,
Dolphins
2 and
might be
14.
the worst.
Yeah, they're going to be a 2-14
They
team
stink.
this year. Yeah, I agree.
I can't wait to start talking about football.
Well, it's not very far away.
Birds of a feather tomorrow. I wonder what position they're going to talk about tomorrow on Birds of a Feather.
Maybe defense. I think it's probably going to be defense or tight ends. I don't know, but they're going to have a
yeah,
fun
no,
show.
Chuck was he was doing his wide receiver rankings or last week or whatever. I think he was by himself. He might have been by
It
himself.
was by himself because
One of the shows I was watching was by himself.
it was by himself last week.
Chromo was watching his shitty Cardinals play against the Phillies. I saw him on Facebook.
And I was
Instead of hanging out with Chuck,
actually
he goes
at
to
the
watch
game that
shitty
Chrome was at
Cardinals.
too. I had no idea he was at the game. I thought he wasn't feeling well.
Bailed on Chuck to watch the Cardinals.
But
poor.
I know last week they had a nice co-host of I don't know where the plush eagle went, but there was a plush eagle in the usual spot that Chuck's was at.
He's ranking his receivers, and he's got DeAndre Hopkins fourth. What?
He's good. That's a good
He's
spot.
one. He's one. DeAndre Hopkins, the best wide receiver in the league. Now here, Brad, what do you mean over Odell
Over
Beckham?
Julio Jones?
Yes.
Oh boy. I
Well,
don't know about that.
DeAndre Hopkins gets 100 catches 100 balls every year with Brock Osweiler.
Stupid list anyway.
Who was that other guy? Tom Savage.
But they throw the ball to
Savage.
him all the time, too. I mean, they don't spread it. It's not like they spread it around.
I mean, if I had to pick one receiver to build my team around, it would be DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, if you want some news that nobody really wants to care about, Carson Wentz is ranked number 3 in the NFL Top 100.
Wow.
Number 3.
And the only two left is Antonio Brown and Tom Brady. Whoop-de fucking do!
Wow. So he's
Wait a
number
He is number
number
3.
three.
He's ahead of Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers was hurt for half the
Aaron
season.
Rodgers is at 10. Von Miller 9. Drew Brees 8. Aaron Donald 7. Todd Gurley 6. Le'Veon Bell 5. Julio 4. And
He's ahead-
Carson's 3.
Well, I guess because he was hurt last year. But Aaron Rodgers is still, in my book, I'd take him over anybody right now.
Yeah. And then the rest of that list is
We're
just-
11-time World Series champs. Is that it?
Oh,
The
it's
Cardinals?
yeah. It's a Demons team, his baseball team.
Who's that?
Foolish Demon. One of our regulars.
What team?
He's a Cardinals fan.
Okay.
He's a Cardinals
I
fan.
mean, cool.
Loves the Eagles, but his other teams are the Golden
Cool.
Knights and the Portland Trailblazers.
Classic.
The Golden Knights.
Well, he is from Oregon, so
Antonio Brown, Hopkins, and Julio Jones. It's muddled after that. Didi just bunted for a base hit. The players got this one right. First off, that top 100 show is an absolute
It's a
fucking
mess.
joke. He had the best right tackle in the league at like 96th.
a lot of first timers in this.
J.J.
list.
Watt had played 2 games or whatever, and he's
And, like-
in the 50s.
and Case Keenum's in the list. Like,
Well, Odell
51.
Odell shouldn't even be in the top 100. He only played 2 games last year.
yeah, they need
Right,
to
but
fix
I'm sure he
this
was.
list. Like,
I mean, you're looking at me like I think Odell
Yeah.
should be number 1. He shouldn't be number 1. He played 2 games last year.
He shouldn't be on the list.
No,
played 2
shouldn't be. He
games.
played 2 games.
like Russell Wilson is
You know
number
what? Listen,
11.
he'll get back. Listen.
Well, I mean, the quarterbacks are overvalued.
Yeah,
We
the
knew that was
quarterbacks are
gonna happen.
overvalued, but Russell Wilson at 11, like,
I mean, I know Carson Wentz is 3 and he got hurt, but he played what, 14 games,
Yeah.
13 games.
and putting
was-
up
he
amazing
was
numbers.
By
too.
far the best player in the league when he got hurt. Wasn't
Yeah.
even close. So, but I
he
mean,
was
Yeah.
having an unbelievable season. He was having an MVP season.
yeah, when I saw Lane Johnson at number 95 Because
95.
Jenkins was
Nah, it should be higher
97
than
and
that.
Lane Johnson was 96 or something like that. And where Malcolm Jenkins, he's a borderline top 100 player. In the grand scheme,
Lane Johnson,
in the
is
grand scheme
Lane
of
Johnson,
things.
wasn't he an All-Pro last year?
Lane Johnson is a stud.
He was an All-Pro last year.
Like,
wasn't
was
he?
Brandon Brooks even on the list?
I don't think he was on the list.
Yeah, cool.
Well,
I
who
know
cares?
Zach Ertz was on the list.
Rob, does it matter? You won the Super Bowl. Who cares who's on the list and who's not on the list? You won the Super Bowl. You're going to be right there again this year.
Oh, the
You have a
Eagles are
very
going to be
strong-
sick.
You're going to have a very, very strong team again.
I think the Giants will bounce back, but
yeah, but
but
the Giants might
the-
even beat them once. But
the
Giants
Redskins stink.
The Redskins stink. Dallas stinks. Can Detroit be better this year?
Maybe they got the
They got the one great.
they got Blunt.
Yeah, they
They
have.
have Garrett Blunt now.
Yeah, they also have a really good.
They might actually get a
shutdown corner.
100-yard rusher for
They
the
have a
first
really
time
good-
in years.
They have a really good shutdown corner.
They have Darius Slay.
Yeah, I mean,
Stafford.
they got some-
I like Matthew Stafford. I
do too.
I think he's good.
pretty good. I always liked him.
But a lot of people think he stinks, which is
How does he stink?
I don't know.
No, he doesn't stink. He's really good, actually. I mean, whatever. I like Matthew Stafford. I've always.
How about famous Jameis Winston getting popped for 3 games for groping an Uber driver? The Eagles play the Bucks.
I'm sure it was just a misunderstanding.
The
Go to
Eagles,
you 3-game suspension.
it can't be. Yeah, but the Eagles. When the Eagles play the Bucks in week 2,
Well, then you're going to get to play them
that's
without
a huge
Jameis
break.
Winston. But
'Cause
you know what?
I had that game chalked up as a loss because it was on the road against a big
Well, you know what?
after a big game.
I look
in
at it-
the opener against Atlanta.
I look at it this way: that team is a threat to the Giants for a wild card, and now they're going to be 0-3.
I wonder who their backup is.
It's not All I know is it's not
Is
Winston.
it Fitzpatrick?
It's
down
probably
there?
Fitzpatrick.
He's actually that's actually not the
Yeah.
worst.
He's not good.
Well, he's not a starter.
He's not good either.
If you rank the backups in the league, I bet you Fitzpatrick would be.
In the middle of the road.
Yeah, then like one below it is like, I think it's like Riley Ferguson, I believe, on the
Who's that?
an undrafted rookie. That's
Great.
the only other player I know that's a quarterback on the
The
Bucks.
fact that
So-
you even know the third string
So-
quarterback on the Bucks is good work.
Is Kirk Cousins going to be the difference in Minnesota?
I hate the Vikings. I hope they lose every game and every single one of their players breaks their neck.
Let me ask you a question. Are his numbers a little bit fake?
I shouldn't say that. That was really mean. But I hate their fans, and I hope they lose every game.
Okay, but is Kirk Cousins a little fake? Do you think that his numbers are a little fake? And you know what
Is
I'm
he
talking
better than
about.
Kirk? Is he better than Kirk? Is he better than
Kirk Cousins? is
Keenum? Keenum. He's better than Keenum.
Oh yeah,
yeah, Keenum is not.
They have good
Keenum-
receivers.
They have very good receivers.
They'll probably win that division. My sleeper
Green
teams.
Bay might have something. To say.
The
I'll tell you what,
Packers stink.
their defense is a lot better now.
They are the Cleveland Cavaliers of the NFL.
They won one championship, right, with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
But their defense is a lot
Who?
better. this
Where?
year. From everything I've read, they're saying that they're going to be a top 10 defense. At NFL.com, I've been reading up on it. They're saying with their draft, they're expecting them to be a top 10 defense.
Okay, so they're
Now,
relying on a lot of rookies.
they
I
think
like
they
the
had a good
Bears.
draft.
I like the Bears over there. The Bears might not get to the playoffs, but
no.
they're getting better.
Nah,
I like
Maybe
Trubisky.
a 6 to 7 win team, which for them is a big improvement, by the way. But I don't think they're
The
I don't think
Bears.
they're
The
ready to
Bears are
compete.
going to finish second in the North. Second.
You think they're going to finish ahead of the Packers and
Yes.
the Lions? Oh, I don't.
They're signed Allen Robinson. They have Jordan Howard. They have.
But their defense.
I like Trubisky.
Their defense stinks. though.
Leonard Floyd and Roquan Smith, who they got this year, are beasts. They're on the right track.
They're on
maybe
the
they're a
right
year
track,
away.
but yeah, they're not going to cut. There's no way they're finishing higher than
I like them.
the Packers or the Lions. I can't imagine that. I mean, listen, I guess it could happen because they have to play the games, but I don't see that happening.
Frankie Dems.
What about the LA Rams? Where do they shake?
I mean,
out
they're
this
gonna
year?
win. They're gonna win
They're
the
going to win
West.
their division.
They're gonna
Hands down.
That's a powerhouse team. And now that they've been to the
We'll
playoffs,
see. I mean,
last year they
Sue-
kind of choked on it a little bit in the playoffs. I thought.
Sue and Marcus Peters seem to be problems wherever they go. Talib's also a little bit of a rebel too, even though he's good. He's the best of those 3 players that I just named.
And he's on the Rams too.
Yes.
Talib. That's gonna be a good team.
I mean, we'll see.
One thing they
Does
can
Goff
do.
take a step back, or is he going to do that again? Who's playing receiver out there? Sammy Watkins is on the.
Where did he end up going?
He's on the Chiefs.
Who are their receivers?
They
now?
have Cooper Kupp, who's slot guy. They have Robert Woods.
He's okay.
Tavon Austin, who's not good. He's in. I agree with Frankie Dem. Frankie Dem's. He doesn't believe in LA. I don't believe in him either. I don't know. Something about him.
They can still run the ball though.
Frankie Dean's. Jenkins was 96. Lane Johnson 95. Fletcher Cox was 68. Cox was 69. Ertz was 68 on the top 100. I assume he just named the Eagles that were on the top 100, which I don't think any of them made it past that. David Roska's all about the Rams. That's a real shock. But, I mean, the Rams are going to run through that division because
there's really nobody to
talk
challenge
about
them
not
anymore.
talk about not going to live up to the hype. I mean, I'm sorry, San Francisco 49er fans, but to think that they're going to make the playoffs next year, I think that's a stretch. The Cardinals stink, and I don't know what the Seahawks are doing.
You may be right about that Adam Morgan guy.
Why? Because what's the score
It's
now?
4-1 now, and he gave up
A home run.
He pitched to 3 guys, 2 hits and a walk, 2 runs. And now
He didn't give up a home run?
Let me see how the Yankees got their 2 runs. Let's see. Stanton singled to left center. Gardner and Judge scored.
He didn't give up a home run though, so he's
No.
getting better.
That's like what I say
Yeah.
about Shreve. He kept the ball in the ballpark.
He got a
this
save.
time.
His first save of his major league career on Wednesday. I almost fell off my sofa watching the game. He got a save.
But again, this is
The guy is a total
but
sweatbox.
Rod, this is an example of what I'm talking about with them. They have got to get their bullpen straightened out. I mean, this is ridiculous. Every game they're giving up runs.
I have no faith. I have no faith in Matt
bullpen.
Clintack to do the right thing.
Yeah, I mean,
0.
I think that they need to do what the Nationals did last year before the trade deadline with their bullpen. If you remember, the Nationals last year went and they picked up Doolittle and Madsen at the same time to try to help their bullpen. I think the Phillies need to do something like that. They need to bring in 2 or 3 guys, because if they could do that and at least have clear cut roles for these guys, yeah, they're not a bad team. They got good pitching. Their starting pitching's been pretty good. Once again, Velasquez did a nice job. I mean, he helped the Yankees to 2 runs in 7 innings. Or was it 2 runs in 6 innings? Something like that. I mean, he pitched well.
He's okay.
He's not bad. He's not bad. Pavetta's not bad either. I mean, it's the same thing with them every night. Velasquez goes 6 innings, gives up 2 runs, 3
That's
hits.
a shame. Didn't I tell you that was going to happen when Morgan
Yeah, you
went
did.
in?
You did. He is a piece of crap.
stinks.
5.57. Why would you ever bring him into a game that you're in a close game? Some of these
Because
managers,
Luis Garcia's on the DL, Neshek's on the DL, Tommy Hunter hasn't lived up to expectations at all.
Tommy Hunter stinks. All he does is throw fastballs. He throws perfectly straight fastballs. He's been doing that
Odubre
his
Ramos.
entire career.
Odubre Ramos went on the DL today, so
And what's his name?
2 of the 3 guys they've been leaning on at the back end of the bullpen are out.
But he's got to make some
But-
moves. He can't. I mean, he's.
I don't understand why you don't
He's
put.
wasting a team. He's wasting a team that has pretty good starting pitching. Their hitting seems to be okay. I mean, if their bullpen, they don't have to have a lights out bullpen, but they need to have a respectable bullpen. I mean, it's ridiculous. Every Monday night, we sit here and we talk about we talk baseball, And we sit here, and every Monday night the Phillies have the lead late in the game, and somebody's blowing it. Last week it was they blew that game to the Cardinals, but then they came back and won it after they wasted an incredible Nick Pivetta outing. I mean, it's like every week it's the same thing with them.
Right. They actually won that game in extras.
I know they did. Okay. And that was I think the catcher who allowed the wild pitch hit a home run, didn't he?
No, Marcelo Ozuna dove for a baseball, which
you're right. You're right.
Had, I don't know why he's diving. I would have reamed him out if I was the manager behind closed doors, because you just let it drop in front of you and throw it in, and then it's 5-5. You can at least try and win in extras.
Didn't he used to play center field with Miami? Or was
he did play Miami last year. He played primarily center fielder. Stanton was in right, and Yelich was in left.
They moved him to left.
Now he plays left.
Yeah, maybe
I don't know who they have in center field.
Yeah, but maybe he's not.
Maybe we should ask Chromo.
Yeah, maybe he's just not good in left field. I mean, that's some guys for some reason can't play a certain position in the outfield. You know, I mean, I don't know why that's the case. But,
sucks to suck.
Well, that's
but
something.
That's the kind of shit that's been happening to the Phillies all season. Ozuna dives for a ball, gets behind him, they get it, they get in. You know, I don't know. I just see unless they make a couple of logical moves at the trade deadline, I see this team folding in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. That's the problem. I keep thinking is that it's not sustainable when they keep giving up runs like this late in the game. You know, that's a problem, and you know, there's no way they're going to stop it unless they go out and bring a couple of guys in. And there's plenty of guys that you could bring in. You know what? The Oakland A's, as good a season as they're having, they're not going anywhere. They have a pretty good bullpen. Why not try to bring in Trainin? A guy like that.
Well, the A's are doing exactly what they're set up to do. The A's, they could add at the trade deadline.
They're not going to add. They're only 3 games over 500. Seattle is the wild card, and they're 18 over 500. They're not going to catch Seattle. You really think that they? You really
maybe
think they can
not,
make up 8
but
games
but
on
they
them?
can. If they can make
I mean,
it.
they could, I guess, but I mean.
Well, what if they can trade for? I mean, how long? You know the American League better than me. Like, how long is Zach Britton under contract for?
He's a free agent after this year.
Okay, so
Zach Britton would cost you nothing to get.
But you know, they're
That
building
injury
for.
killed his.
They're
trade
trying to
value.
develop the young guys they have now, and you know, make a run next
But
year
are you-
or the year after.
Are you telling me that they wouldn't that they couldn't trade a guy like Treinen, pick up another arm or two for next year? Why wouldn't they want to try to do that? They're not going to.
I
They're not
don't
going to make
know.
the playoffs this year.
I'm just saying.
mean,
I would
they're
be
a pleasant
surprised if
surprise,
they
but-
did anything because, you know, they're 3 games over 500. They were able to beat the Royals today, who stink as well. You know, if the A's win 80 games,
They'll
With the
probably win
second-
like 85 games.
if you do that with the second lowest payroll in the league, that's a successful season.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
That's all they care about there. They don't care about winning in Oakland.
Well, the owners don't. You're right about that.
They don't.
They never.
That's
have.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's
they
what I'm
never
talking
have.
about.
They never have. As I said,
Even they were good. They did it because they had
But they're always
they had
thinking,
Mulder, Hudson, and Zito
But they're always thinking
because
about
they
the
developed
future.
them.
Why not try to?
But
pick
the
up a
second
guy
they
like
had
that?
to give any of those guys a dime of money, they were traded.
And another team that you're going to see in the second half of the season fade is the Angels. They got some guys in their bullpen that could be a big help.
Yeah, it's a shame what happened with Ohtani there because he was.
Yeah, I mean
Really
that's a
looking
killer.
good.
That's a killer injury for them.
I mean, he was probably going to hit 20 home runs and win 15
He would have
games.
been. He would have been the rookie of the year. You know, now it's,
He might have been the MVP. If you win 15 games as a starting pitcher and hit 20 to 25 home runs, how are you not the MVP?
You're the MVP, yeah. I mean, I guess you could give it to Trout. Depends on if Trout. Suppose
but
Trout.
what are Trout's pitching stats?
He doesn't have any, but if he hits 50 home runs, it'd be hard to bet against him, though.
Well, now,
Yeah, he could.
I mean, 20 home runs I think is conservative for Ohtani the way he was playing.
I'll tell you what, that guy I mean, I was at a Yankee Angel game. Okay, he hit a ball in the mezzanine in left field, a foul home run. To have power to the opposite field like that, as a left-handed batter, to me that's impressive. You know, I mean, I've seen plenty of right-handed hitters who end up hitting the ball in the mezzanine in right field in Yankee Stadium, but when you do it in left field as a left-handed batter, that's impressive because left field, you do have to hit the ball pretty hard to hit a home run in left field. It's not you don't get cheap home runs in left field in Yankee Stadium.
No, you don't.
And that guy had unbelievable power. I mean, he's some hitter. I was really,
Japanese Babe Ruth.
We were making fun of him at the beginning of the game, but when he hit that ball, I think the entire section was like, we're sitting there like, holy crap! Did he just hit a foul home run into the mezzanine in left field? I mean, that's a shot.
It is.
That's a shot.
But anyway, that's going to do it for this edition of the Sports Hounds. We'll be back next week, same station, same time. Frank's going on vacation, but I'm sure someone will show up and try and do a good a job as Frank does.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Frank is irreplaurable.
Someone
be
will
honest.
be here.
Somebody.
He's like Aaron Rodgers. If he's gone, it's just the season's over.
All right. We'll see you next week. Sports Hounds over and out. Peace.